Yo, Atlas speaking, and welcome to part 3 of What If I Was Reincarnated in the World of Pokémon as the Greatest Tactician. Let the tale begin. Chapter 61. After 3 minutes, Ralts came to Alex and Crobat with a smile. Father, Ditto said that he wants to join our family. Isn't that great? Alex saw Ralts' innocent smile and said, Yeah, Ralts. It's really great that Ditto wants to join us. I'm glad that I asked you to help me convince Ditto. Crobat gave Alex a look which said, Are you sure it wasn't lying? Alex understood Crobat and said, Don't worry. I've considered that possibility. Though Pokémon seldom lies, they are not inept in lying. Of course, there are also Pokémon species that never lie and Pokémon species that lie relatively often compared to other Pokémon. But even these Pokémon lie much less than a normal human being. Alex went in front of the glass cage and said, Ditto, as you've probably just heard from Ralts, I'm a very nice trainer who doesn't treat his Pokémon poorly. So what do you think? Do you want to join my family? Ditto, who had spent most of its life alone, was very lonely and would like to have a family. After talking with Ralts, it felt that this trainer will take good care of it. It had the feeling that as soon as it agrees, it'll never get lonely again. Ditto looked at Alex and nodded with a neutral face. Alex looked briefly at Crobat and opened Ditto's glass cage. Ditto, who was free, did not run away and just looked at Alex with an indifferent expression. Alex took a Pokeball out of his pocket and placed it in front of Ditto. Ditto saw this and touched the Pokeball with an emotionless expression. Ralts, who could understand the emotions of a Pokémon very well, knew how nervous Ditto was in reality and cheered it on all the time. Alex was a bit confused about why Ralts was cheering for Ditto all the time. But after thinking for a bit, he had a guess. He took Ditto out of his Pokeball immediately and said with a smile, Ditto, welcome to the family. You don't have to worry about how you will be treated because everyone here is a family member. Without waiting for an answer, Alex lifted Ditto off the floor and put it on his shoulder. Ditto felt like Alex trusted him and kept him as a family member and became very happy even if it still has its indifferent face on the outside. Ralts, who saw Alex is not quite sure whether Ditto likes this closeness, said to Alex via telepathy, Father, don't worry. Ditto is very happy and trusts you now. This is just its nervous face. Alex heard this and knew that his initial guess was right. He said with a smile, Ditto, no need to be nervous. You can take your time to adjust around us. As he said that, Ditto's face eased up a little bit. Alex and Ralts talked to Ditto for a while. Even Crobat joined in the conversation from time to time. Alex could feel that Ditto trusts him and will follow his commands. After making sure that their bond was a little stronger than before, he said to Ditto, Ditto, I have a task for you. Can you do it for me? Ditto, who was sitting on Alex's shoulder, nodded and waited for his first task. Alex, who saw that Ditto was ready to follow him, asked, Ditto, do you remember the faces of the people who walk past you every day? Can you show me a few faces that you last saw several days ago? Ditto quickly turned into different faces that it hadn't seen for a long time. Alex saw that and said, Okay, Ditto. Now make yourself as thin as paper and turn yourself into one of these faces while clinging to my face. It should feel like that face is mine. And make sure that you are not covering my mouth, ears, eyes, and nostrils. Ditto understood Alex's idea and carried out Alex's orders. After 30 minutes of testing, Ditto managed to flawlessly change Alex's face. No one would be able to detect that the face is fake. In addition, Ditto is now only allowed to use faces that have the same skin color as Alex. So that Alex's hands don't have a completely different skin color than his new face. Alex, who had fulfilled phase 1 of the plan, went towards the stands that were selling Pokémon with his new face. After 2 hours, Alex had seen 60% of all Pokémon in the black market that were being sold by trainers and had to say that he was a bit disappointed with the quantity and quality of the silver Pokémon he could buy. He found 10 silver Pokémon and was able to buy them for 15,000 Pokédollars. The Pokémon that Alex had bought were 2 Butterfree, Shallow Silver and Silver. Raticate, silver. Fiero, shallow silver. Beedrill, silver. Parasect, shallow silver. Persian, shallow silver. Venonat, shallow silver. Farfetch'd, deep silver. Coughing, shallow silver. None of these Pokémon met Alex's expectations. Alex's minimum requirement of potential for his new Pokémon is deep silver, and that is the absolute minimum he expects. He won't add a deep silver Pokémon to his team if it doesn't have something else that makes it exceptional from others. After 5 minutes, Alex suddenly saw a Pokémon that surprised him. Pokémon, Cerulean. LV, 3. Type, Rock/Steel. Abilities, Sturdy. Gender, Male. Potential, Shallow Gold. Move, Protect, Tackle, Innate Talent, Rock Polish, Not Usable, Innate Talent, Sleep Talk, Not Usable, Innate Talent, Flamethrower, Not Usable. Alex thought with a smile, Cerulean can be a great tank for my team, and this Cerulean even has Shallow Gold potential. It also has Rock Polish as an innate talent move, which means it loses one of its big weakness, that it is too slow. The best fact is that it has yet to evolve, which makes it easier for me to bring it up to gold potential. Maybe I can increase its potential to even deep gold. No matter how I see it, I must have this Pokémon. Alex walked in the direction of the young woman who was selling several Pokémon in her stall and said, "Hello, miss. I would like to buy this Cerulean." The young woman looked at Alex and said, "Well, you're not the first to say that. Although I don't know the talent, potential, of this Cerulean, it's not cheap. You can hardly find this Pokémon here in Kanto, so it is worth more than average Pokémon. Though I won't ask as much money as a Dragon-type Pokémon's worth, I want at least 10,000 Pokédollars for it." Alex and the young woman negotiated a bit, and the price was lowered to 8,500 Pokédollars. He could still try to lower the price, but he didn't want to risk the woman getting angry, saying that he was too greedy and refusing to sell him the Pokémon. Although this was very, very unlikely to happen, Alex did not want to risk it. Chapter 62. After the young woman counted the money that Alex had given her, she got the Pokeball of Cerulean and called it back into his Pokeball. Then she gave Alex the Pokeball and said, "You can keep that Pokeball. Hope to see you again." Alex took the Pokeball and continued walking his way. After 5 minutes, Alex was standing in front of the Hunter Guild building. After entering, he walked in the direction of the Pokémon Exchange Station. He went in front of the young man at the station and said, "Hello, I have 3 Pokémon that probably have A talent and wanted to sell them here." The young man heard this and looked at Alex's Team Rocket captain uniform. He said with a polite smile, "Sir, I have to get my boss for such a big job. Please wait for a moment." Alex nodded to the young man and waited patiently. After 5 minutes, the young man came back with a tall fat man. The fat man was wearing expensive clothes and had a friendly smile on his face. The fat man looked at Alex with a welcoming smile and said, "Hello, my name is Andre, and I will be responsible for the negotiations. Let's go to my office. It's nice and quiet there." Alex said, without changing his face, "Okay, let's go." He wasn't afraid that Andre would lure him into a trap because it's not worth killing a Team Rocket captain for a little money. After 2 minutes, Alex was resting in a comfortable chair in front of Andre. Andre said with a smile, "I heard you have 3 Pokémon that have A talent. I wanted to ask, have you already checked the talent of these Pokémon?" Alex said calmly, "No, I didn't. But I saw how these Pokémon used a move in the wild that they can't usually learn by themselves. I think you should understand my reason for thinking that these 3 Pokémon have A talent." Andre's eyes lit up as he said, If that's the case, the probability is really high. But I still have to get it checked. It costs 1,500 Pokédollars to check the 3 Pokémon's talents. Do you want to have it checked or sell them without it?" Alex said, "No, I have no problem paying 1,500 Pokédollars for these Pokémon. I would even pay 10 times that if necessary." Andre knew that Alex would say that and said with a weary smile, 10 times? Haha, you would have to be very unlucky to have to repeat the test for all 3 Pokémon. The good thing is that we don't have to leave because I have recently installed a talent machine here in my office. Shall we do it now? Alex picked up the Pokeballs of Butterfree, Raticate, and Fiero and gave them to Andre. Andre pressed a button, and the bookshelf below him turned and revealed a very complex machine. He put in 1 Pokeball and activated the machine. The machine made a strange noise and then displayed an X on the big screen. Andre smiled and said, "Wow! The guest is really unlucky. Does the guest want to do an improved test for 5,000 Pokedollars or sell the Pokemon just like that?" Alex smiled and said, "Repeat the test for 5,000 Pokedollars. I'm very sure that this Pokemon has at least a talent." Andre, who had expected that, pressed the top button of the machine that makes the improved test. After 3 seconds, a talent was displayed on the screen. Andre and Alex, who had expected this result, were not surprised and went on. At the second test, Andre was surprised that it failed again and looked at Alex with sympathy. Alex tried to look upset as much as possible. Although Alex knew that this would happen beforehand, he didn't want Andre to notice that he was acting weird. At the third test, Andre was surprised again. Andre said with a sympathetic smile, "Sir, your luck is surprisingly bad today, but take it on the positive side. All Pokemon are, as you thought before, a talent Pokemon." Alex, who was pretending to be annoyed, said, "If I didn't know that the penalty for cheating the test is very high, I would have thought that you were trying to pull money out of my pocket. Arg. Anyway, we'd rather negotiate the prices of the Pokemon." Of course, Alex knew that Andre had not manipulated the test. But he wanted to behave as believable as possible and had to say it. These were the Pokemon that had already failed the talent test. That's why they were being sold by trainers in the market at such a low price. Since trainers refused to go through the improved test, it had to be done by Alex. Alex and Andre negotiated for 10 minutes before reaching an agreement. The 3 Pokemon were going to be sold for 305,000 Pokedollars. Butterfree, nothing special, 45,000 Pokedollars. Raticate, good innate talent move, 70,000 Pokedollars. Fiero, sniper and good innate talent move, 190,000 Pokedollars. After the cost of the test being subtracted, Alex had earned 288,500 Pokedollars. Fiero especially gave a lot of money to Alex. The reason why Alex got so much more money for it was that Fiero had a better ability, and he is generally worth more as a Pokemon species, flight mount, than Butterfree and Raticate. Also, the fact that it has a good innate talent move only increases its price even further. Alex and Andre talked for a while before Alex left the Hunter Guild. He wasn't afraid that Andre would attack him for the little money. He quickly found a place where no one would see him so he can change his face and clothes. After another 15 minutes, Alex walked out of the Team Rocket building, Black Market, with a different face and clothes. He was able to sell 2 more silver Pokemon without a problem and managed to sell half of his silver Pokemon today. Butterfree, good innate talent move, 65,000 Pokedollars. Beedrill, nothing special, 40,000 Pokedollars. In just one day, Alex earned 382,500 Pokedollars and now had 542,500 Pokedollars and 43,050 TR points in total. Alex, who saw this number, could hardly suppress his inner joy and thought, "I'm f***ing rich, or at least on the way of being it." Chapter 63. Alex's Room. Alex and his Pokemon sat together and waited for Alex to show them the new member, Cerulean. He took the Pokeball of Cerulean and called Cerulean out of it. Cerulean, who suddenly appeared, saw 4 strong Pokemon and a human in front of him and looked a bit scared. But the fear could only be seen for a fraction of a second. After overcoming his fear, he looked at Alex and his Pokemon with a fearless, cute look. Alex was impressed that a Pokemon that was only a few days old, you can see it on the level, is so brave. Although he is facing 4 Pokemon that were stronger than him, he had managed to overcome his fear and bravely face these Pokemon. This brave character is optimal for a Cerulean to have. He walked over to Cerulean with a friendly smile and said, "Hello, Cerulean. I'm Alex, your new trainer. And you are a new member of our family. I know you're probably very confused about why you're here, but don't be afraid. You are a part of our family now. And no need to worry that you will be treated badly here. We are all very friendly with our new family members and will take good care of you." After Alex said that, he took out a bottle of moo milk and called Cerulean over. Cerulean, who was only a few days old, was very innocent. He immediately believed what Alex told him. He walked in front of Alex with a curious look and looked at the bottle in Alex's hand. Alex poured half of the moo milk into a bowl and gave it to Cerulean. Cerulean smelled the bowl full of moo milk and slowly started to drink it. Alex watched with a smile on how fast Cerulean was drinking the moo milk. Apparently, he had never tasted anything so delicious in his life. Cerulean drank very quickly and emptied the whole bowl. After he finished drinking, he looked at Alex and showed an expression like more. Alex was a bit surprised for a moment, but he quickly refilled the bowl. Normally, one bottle of moo milk for a baby Pokémon should be enough for the whole day. But Cerulean seems to have a big appetite and apparently needs 2 moo milk bottles a day. Alex looked at Cerulean, seeming happy with his dinner, and thought, "I'm glad I have found a good way to make money." After Cerulean finished eating, he walked towards Alex, who was sitting on the floor, and sat down next to him. Then he leaned against Alex and went to sleep. Alex suddenly felt a massive weight as Cerulean leaned against him. And for a while, he didn't know what to do. Cerulean, who is only a few days old, is smaller and weighs less than a full-fledged Cerulean. But even so, Cerulean weighs at least 40 kilograms. Alex, who couldn't sit there all day, had no choice but to let Cerulean sleep on his own bed and hope that Cerulean doesn't notice that his trainer has left him alone. After a few seconds, Alex grabbed the Cerulean and carried him to his bed. Alex felt like he was lifting weights and not a baby Pokémon, but he managed to move Cerulean anyway. Although Cerulean is very heavy, Alex could still pick him up. After laying Cerulean on his bed, Alex thought about what to buy with all his money. He looked at the list of items and saw 3 new items that can only be bought if the buyer is at least a Team Rocket captain. There were 3 items from Half-Blood legendary Pokémons. Regirock, Elite, Stone Piece 3/5 left, 300,000 Team Rocket points. Regice, Elite, Ice Piece 0/2 left, 450,000 Team Rocket points. Registeel, Elite, Metal Piece 2/4 left, 350,000 Team Rocket points. The seller of these items had successfully injured these 3 Pokémon and removed parts of them. Although he was almost defeated by these 3 Pokémon, he managed to run away and take away the parts he broke off. He said that these 3 Half-Blood legendary Pokémon have been trained by a very strong trainer and are therefore worth 10 times the usual price. Alex immediately thought of a trainer who could have caught exactly the 3 Pokémon, Pyramid King Brandon. Brandon owns exactly the 3 Pokémon and is a strong trainer. Although Alex didn't know how strong he is in this world, he should be at least a strong elite trainer. The Pokémon items from such a trainer are really worth 10 times as much as from other Half-Blood legendary Pokémon, where you don't know how strong the Half-Blood legendary Pokémon is. Although Alex knew that these items are quite expensive, he had to buy one of these items. Scyther can evolve with the help of Registeel Steel and is likely to improve his potential with it. In the games, Scyther needs the item Metal Coat to evolve successfully. But in this world, that is not the case. Once Scyther has a piece of metal on his body for a day, it will be able to evolve. The problem is when you use an ordinary metal piece to evolve Scyther to Scyther, the potential of Scyther is very likely to drop. Because of this, the metal of strong Pokémon is often used instead of an ordinary metal piece. Alex knew that he had to buy that item. So he purchased it along with a few other items. Registeel Metal Piece equals 350,000. 5 Moo Milk, in total 6, equals 250. 10 Excellent Scyther Food, in total 10, equals 9,000. 10 excellent Crobat food, in total 10, equals 9,000. 10 excellent Ralts food, in total 10, equals 12,000. 10 excellent Ditto food, in total 10, equals 10,000. 20 excellent Cerulean food, in total 20, equals 20,000. 50 Pokeballs, in total 54, equals 500. 10 Great Balls, in total 10, equals 1,000. 80 Energy Powder, in total 100, equals 2,000. He also sold 13 excellent Bug-type foods and 13 Tauros blood for a little less than he had bought it. 7,000. The reason Alex hadn't bought any TMs yet is that he wants to evolve Scyther before buying TMs. He exchanged 500,000 out of 542,500 Pokedollars for Team Rocket points to pay for his purchase. Alex had to pay 406,750 TR points for all items. After just one day, Alex had managed to use up 3/4 of his money. His account now had only 136,300 TR points and 42,500 Pokedollars. Alex felt that he spends more than most of the rich trainers. Chapter 64. 1 hour later, in Alex's room. Alex was unpacking the package he just received from Team Rocket Lackey. The most important order was, of course, the Regis Teal metal piece. Alex wants to use it for evolving Scyther and increase his potential. He took the Regis Teal metal piece out of the packet and put it in front of Scyther, who looked at this metal piece with enthusiasm. Since Golbat evolved to Crobat, Scyther's confidence in defeating Crobat had declined. He knew that this metal piece could make him a lot stronger, and that's why he was looking so much forward to this package. Alex said, "Scyther, you have to keep the metal piece on your body to be able to evolve." Scyther touched the metal piece, waited for the evolution, which didn't happen. Alex, who saw this, said with a smile, "As far as I can know, you have to keep the metal piece close to your body for at least 1 hour to be able to evolve. Though it may even take as long as an entire day to evolve. So be patient." Scyther picked up the piece of metal with his teeth and went to the armchair to sleep there. Although he prefers to sleep in the Pokeball, he wasn't able to wait until morning to start evolving. Alex saw that Scyther would rather sleep uncomfortably than evolve a day later and shook his head. After a few minutes, Alex and all of his Pokémon went to sleep together. Almost all of Alex's Pokémon prefer to sleep in their Pokeball than on Alex's bed. Only Ralts and the baby Pokémon Cerulean sleep next to Alex. Although Alex feels weird that his Pokémon see him as her father, he is still not sure whether Cerulean sees him as his father or not. He can't say that it doesn't make him a little happy, though he would never admit it. In the middle of the night, Alex heard Scyther screeching loudly and woke up. Not only him, but Ralts and Cerulean also woke up due to the cry of Scyther. Alex saw how Scyther, or rather Scyther, gave out a loud victory cry and said loudly, "SCY. Scyther, shut up. It's the middle of the night, and you're screaming around here like a madman. We can celebrate your evolution tomorrow. Now, go to sleep." Scyther noticed that he woke up Alex, Ralts, and Cerulean and said with the help of sign language, "Oh. Okay, see you tomorrow." Alex suppressed the feeling of getting up and screaming at Scyther and went back to sleep. But as soon as he wanted to go to sleep, he couldn't suppress his curiosity and looked at Scyther's info. Pokémon, Scyther. LV, 30. Type, Bug/Steel. Abilities, Technician. Gender, Male. Potential, Shallow Gold. Moves, Leer, Quick Attack, Focus Energy, Double Team, Feint, Fury Cutter, Wing Attack, Agility, Slash, Razor Wind, Innate Talent, Roost, E, Innate Talent, Metal Claw, Innate Talent, Brick Break, TM, Protect. He saw the info from Scyther and was able to go to sleep comfortably. Now he has 3 Shallow Gold Pokémon, all of which are still young and can probably be further enhanced. Early in the morning, Alex and his Pokémon woke up and had breakfast together. Scyther and Crobat discussed who was now the strongest Pokémon while eating. And Ditto, Ralts, and Cerulean talked about miscellaneous things. At breakfast, Alex thought about his next goal. He heard that the Kanto Rookie Tournament would start within 25 days and that he had to register 3 days in advance to take part. This Kanto Rookie Tournament takes place once a year and is organized by the Alliance to give rookie trainers a chance to show their talent to the whole world. Alex is sure that the reason Giovanni has his own rookie tournament is that the Alliance was able to find a lot of talented rookies with the help of this tournament, and he wants to copy this success too. Alex lost to Maria and can't take part in the boss tournament. But he can still take part in the Kanto Rookie Tournament since he has a new Alliance ID. Alex decided to take part in this tournament and to prepare for it here 10 days before he goes to Celadon City to register for this tournament. Although Alex is not sure that he will be able to win this tournament, he thinks that he can make it into the top 10 relatively easily. And with that, he will win many valuable prizes. The reason Alex thinks this is simple. Only trainers who are 17 years or younger are allowed to take part in this tournament. The reason why Alex doesn't presume that he can win is that some trainers start training their first Pokémon at the age of 13 to 14. Some start even earlier. Although Alex is sure that he can defeat most of the trainers of these experienced trainers, there are some genius trainers who have managed to train their starter Pokémon to the elite rank within these 2 to 3 years of training time. For example, Brock, 16, trained his Onix to the elite rank 3 years ago and was able to secure second place in this tournament. When Alex has to fight such trainers, he doesn't think he has a high chance of victory. Although Alex thinks that even Brock levels his Pokémon relatively slowly, he has to admit that without combat training in the wild, it is difficult to level his Pokémon quickly. Especially if you don't burn money as swiftly as Alex. After he decided to take part in this tournament, he thought about which TMs he should buy for Ralts and Sizer. The reason he's only buying TMs for the 2 Pokémon is quite simple. Cerulean is still a baby Pokémon, and Alex wants to wait for him to grow. Crobat got TMs last time, and Alex doesn't have enough money to buy TMs for all of his Pokémon. And Ditto is Ditto. Alex considered which TMs to buy. He picked out the TMs he found most important. Ralts. Protect, 1000 TR points. Shadow Ball, 65,000 TR points. Psych Up, 1 million TR points. Reflect, 550,000 TR points. Will-O-Wisp, 15,000 TR points. Thunderbolt, 50,000 TR points. Thunder Wave, 10,000 TR points. Helping Hand, 1,000 TR points. Sizer. Toxic, 5,000 TR points. Light Screen, 500,000 TR points. Sandstorm, 1,500,000 TR points. Thief, 70,000 TR points. Facade, 7,500 TR points. Giga Impact, 50,000 TR points. U-Turn, 25,000 TR points. Alex would love to buy all these TMs, but he doesn't have enough money for that. Especially those valuable TMs are way too expensive for him. He has to make a decision about which of these TMs he considers more important than others. He also has to factor in the price. Alex estimates he can sell the other 5 silver Pokémon for 400,000. Together with the money he already has, Alex is ready to spend 500,000 TR points on TMs. He pondered on which of these TMs he should buy with the money. Chapter 65. In 3 days, Alex had managed to sell all 5 silver Pokémon for 440,000 TR points and bought new TMs for his Pokémon. He also had a training session with Maria to prepare for the tournament. Pokémon, Crobat. LV, 32. Type, Poison/Flying. Abilities, Inner Focus. Gender, Male. Potential, Shallow Gold. Moves, Absorb, Supersonic, Astonish, Bite, Wing Attack, Confuse Ray, Swift, Haze, Leech Life, Innate Talent, Shadow Ball, E, Innate Talent, Fly, Innate Talent, Cross Poison, TM, Protect, TM, Toxic, TM, Sludge Bomb, TM, Facade, TM, Taunt. Pokémon, Sizer. LV, 31. Type, Bug/Steel. Abilities, Technician. Gender, male. Potential, shallow gold. Moves, Leer, quick attack, focus energy, double team, feint, fury cutter, wing attack, agility, slash, razor wind, innate talent, roost, E, innate talent, metal claw, innate talent, brick break, TM, protect, TM, toxic, TM, thief, TM, facade, TM, giga impact, TM, U-turn. Pokémon, Ralts. LV, 22. Type, psychic/fairy. Abilities, telepathy. Gender, female. Potential, deep silver. Move, growl, confusion, double team, teleport, disarming voice, lucky chant, magical leaf, heal pulse, innate talent, disable, TM, protect, TM, shadow ball, TM, will-o-wisp, TM, thunderbolt, TM, thunder wave, TM, helping hand. Pokémon, Ditto. LV, 24. Type, normal. Abilities, imposter, hidden ability. Gender, genderless. Potential, shallow silver. Move, innate talent, transform, E. Pokémon, Cerulean. LV, 5. Type, rock/steel. Abilities, sturdy. Gender, male. Potential, shallow gold. Move, protect, tackle, innate talent, rock polish, innate talent, sleep talk, innate talent, flamethrower. TM, toxic, TM, thief, TM, facade, TM, giga impact, TM, U-turn, TM, protect, TM, shadow ball, TM, will-o-wisp, TM, thunderbolt, TM, helping hand, TM, thunder wave. Bought for 299,500 TR points. Alex had enough money to buy all the TMs which were not overpriced and still have enough money to buy something else if he is interested in it. 276,800 TR points, 42,500 Pokédollars left. The problem was that Alex noticed how his Pokémon were leveling up much slower than before after reaching LV30. For example, even after 3 days of intense training, Crobat was unable to move up even one level. Another problem was that Ralts could not evolve for whatever reason. Alex knows from the games that Ralts should have evolved at LV20. But even after reaching level 22, she is still a Ralts and not a Kirlia. Alex thought that it was because Ralts was still very young and hence cannot evolve yet. Ralts, who is not even a month old, may have to be a bit older before she can evolve. Though Alex is not entirely sure that this is the right reason. Alex's training schedule for Ralts was relatively simple. Practice teleport and disable. He wanted Ralts to train these two significant moves to an expert rank before she can start her training for other moves. In the 3 days, Cerulean had also gotten mature enough to be trained. Alex had already decided about which move Cerulean will train to expert rank first, Rock Polish. Rock Polish, if trained well, can help Cerulean lose his greatest weakness, that he is too slow. As soon as Shieldon's Rock Polish reaches the expert rank, one can say that Shieldon has no weaknesses except his relatively weak attack power. Alex has also come up with a training plan for Ditto. Ditto is a Pokémon that is highly underestimated in this world and is not trained correctly. The best way for Ditto to fight is in group battles where it can make the most out of its talent. Ditto is the perfect helper for group fights if used cleverly. For example, Ditto can transform itself into Ralts and use the moves of Ralts to heal, heal pulse, boost, helping hand, or to disturb its opponents, disable, will-o-wisp, etc. Or Ditto can transform itself into Sizer, who is already strengthened to the maximum stats with focus energy and agility and suddenly has 2 monsters on the battlefield. Alex had noticed that as soon as a Ditto got its transform on the expert rank, the transform not only got faster, but it could also copy reinforcements from the Pokémon in which Ditto is transforming. Alex saw how much better transform became after it reached the expert rank and got excited about what would change when it reached the master rank. He thought about the possibility that Ditto, as soon as he reached the master rank, could also copy the Pokémon's moves mastery and got excited. If that's really the case, Ditto is one of the best Pokémon in this world. The problem was that Alex noticed how Ditto's transform took a lot longer than other moves to get to expert rank. He got to know from Ditto that Ditto had already trained this move for 12 months, without a trainer, and had only now made it reach the expert rank. That shows how much more difficult it is to bring this move to expert rank than other moves. Even though Ditto has normal potential, it shouldn't have taken this long. As far as Alex knows, there are no known trainers who have managed to bring their Ditto's transform to master rank. Though indeed, most of them aren't elite trainers, and even if they are, they don't put much effort into Ditto. But even with this disadvantage, Ditto has so many opportunities to be used effectively that Alex naturally wanted to train him too. For Crobat, Alex chose the Fly, Cross Poison, and Toxic moves as the moves he should train first for the tournament. Although there are other moves that Alex wanted to train his Crobat in, like Confuse Ray and Taunt, he cannot let Crobat train in too many moves at once. 3 moves are already a bit too much for him because it takes so long to get a move to the expert rank that it is relatively ineffective. For Sizer, Alex opted the moves Agility, Metal Claw, and Brick Break. Although he also wanted to train Fury Cutter and Focus Energy, the innate talent moves get the priority because you can train them to the expert rank faster than normal moves. Of course, Alex not only trained moves but also the physical fitness of his Pokémon. Especially Crobat, Sizer, and Cerulean are Pokémon who also have to train their bodies a lot in order to become stronger quickly. Crobat trained his speed and agility in the air. Sizer trained his strength and close combat skills. Cerulean was currently only training his endurance. Alex thought that Cerulean was still a little too young for difficult training. Ditto and Ralts also trained their bodies, but most of their training time was spent on moves mastery than on physical exercises. Ditto trained his close combat skills when he transforms into a Sizer. Ralts trained in evading attacks with or without teleport. Different Pokémon need different training plans. But it was not like Alex didn't do anything. He had learned his lessons. Other than the physical exercises, he also practiced throwing Pokeballs at the different targets. After all, he doesn't want to repeat the mistake he almost made in the Victory Bell situation. Chapter 66. 7 days later. In the past days that Alex trained in Team Rocket Base, a lot had happened. He did not only train his Pokémon but had also bought and sold 6 more silver Pokémon from the black market. Alex had considered whether to buy and sell more silver Pokémon, but after long thinking, he decided against it. If someone suddenly noticed that the number of Pokémon with improved tests had increased significantly, the Hunter Guild and the Rocket Team would probably want to investigate this matter. The more often he does it, the higher the chance of him being discovered. Alex didn't want to sell any more Pokémon in the black market of this town because it was getting too risky. Alex sold 8 silver Pokémon that had to repeat the test in the last 13 days to the Hunter Guild. Although Alex wasn't sure how many silver Pokémon were sold in 13 days, it couldn't be more than 100, estimation by Alex. If you consider the 10% error rate from the talent machine, an average of 10 silver Pokémon, repeated test, were sold there in these 13 days. That means that Alex probably doubled the number of silver Pokémon, repeated test, that were sold there for the last 13 days. Regular numbers 10 turned into 18, 10 plus 8, because of Alex. If Alex had continued to sell silver Pokémon here, these statistics would have soon become extremely abnormal. And if that was the case, it wouldn't have been long before questions arise that why so many silver Pokémon that have to repeat the test were suddenly being sold. Alex didn't want to take such a risk. After Alex sold these 5 silver Pokémon for 302,000 Pokedollars in the black market, he bought the Pokémon food and training items he needed. In these 10 days, Ralt still couldn't evolve herself. But she was still able to learn Calm Mind, which lifted up Alex's mood. Anyone who has played the Pokémon games knows how powerful and useful the move Calm Mind is for Psychic-type Pokémon. In this world, this move is at least as powerful and helpful as it is in the games, or maybe even more. Ralt also managed to get innate talent move disabled to the expert rank. Alex and Ralts tested how much better the move on the expert rank had become, and Alex had to admit that he was impressed. Not only Ralts can now move while using it. It can now, under certain conditions, also be used against Pokémon that are of a higher level than Ralts. After a bit of testing, Alex knew the conditions under which the move will work. 1. The Pokémon must not be more than 10 levels higher than Ralts, and the move that the Pokémon is using must not be on the expert rank or at master. 2. Ralts can use the disable against expert rank move if Ralts is at the same or higher level than the opponent. These two prerequisites must be met to be able to use the disable successfully. However, after 10 days, not only Ralts but Crobat and Cerulean had also learned new moves. Crobat, who can now use Mean Look, can help Alex catch Pokémon more easily. Cerulean, who has risen 7 levels and learned 2 new moves, can now also fight against weak Pokémon to train. Alex gave his team a satisfying look after the result of these 10 days. Although Alex wasn't able to get his 2 strongest Pokémon to the elite level before the Kanto Rookie Tournament, the improvement was good enough for him to be sure that he and his team can get a good place. 30 minutes later, Alex teleported out of Team Rocket base. Alex, who was now an official Alliance trainer, walked in the streets of Pewter City with his Alliance Pokebelt. He noticed that most people no longer looked at him with contempt and once again felt how rotten the system of this world is. In this world, those who are not official Alliance trainers or official Alliance members are treated as two-tier human beings and are despised by most people. That 10% of people are treated as no better than garbage. The weak and poor minority is oppressed and despised by the majority. What a broken system! Alex understood why so many people joined Team Rocket and other crime organizations. He stepped leisurely in the direction of MT Moon as he thought about these kinds of things. Chapter 67. MT Moon is a mountain chain in northern Kanto, between Pewter City in the west and Cerulean City in the east. MT Moon is known for being one of the few places where wild Clefairy can be found. Not to mention the famous frequent meteor falls. The shards of meteorites that fall here become moonstones, which is why it's named MT Moon. The mountain is also known for being home to Pokémon fossils. This is apparent by looking at the trainers who come here to seek valuable and rare items. But you will find many elite Pokémon in this mountain chain or the forest in front of it. That's why only the brave and powerful trainers dare to enter this mountain chain. Regular people and weak trainers have to take a detour to get to Cerulean City. For Alex, this place was like a treasure trove where you can find many valuable objects. He was not afraid to enter this relatively dangerous zone because he had prepared for most of the dangers. Food and water, he has enough food for himself and his Pokémon to last for a month. Getting lost, he had bought an expensive card that tells him exactly where he is and where the danger zones are. To be suddenly attacked by a Pokémon, no longer possible. He has Crobat, who can track down all Pokémon above the land. And Cerulean, who can track down all Pokémon below the ground. Encounter a too strong Pokémon or a trainer, as long as the trainer does not have Pokémon or the wild Pokémon itself is not a Psychic-type Pokémon that can stop Ralts' telepotion, he doesn't have to be afraid of them. A strong Psychic-type Pokémon attacks Alex, fly away with the help of Crobat. Those were all risks for which Alex had an emergency plan. Of course, there are many other dangers, but Alex does not want to and cannot have a plan for all risks. He can only take into account the dangers that he can probably face. If he encounters new trouble, he can only adapt and prepare for it the next time. Alex, Crobat, Ralts, and Cerulean walk the path that leads deeper to this mountain range. Alex knows that he first has to cross this mountain chain and then go through a particular cave to get to Cerulean City. Crobat suddenly approached Alex and said, "One Pokémon is ahead of us." Alex was a bit confused that a Pokémon dared to walk on this path alone. Usually, trainers who are walking around here are too dangerous for normal Pokémon. He thought one of these two possibilities were most likely to occur. 1. The Pokémon was strong enough to be not afraid of regular trainers. 2. The Pokémon was still young and didn't know that this zone was dangerous. Alex, who was not afraid of a strong Pokémon, slowly walked ahead. Even if this Pokémon was too strong, Alex had plenty of opportunities to run away. As he walked in the direction of this Pokémon, he suddenly smelled a disgusting stench. This smell reminded him of Pokémon's corpses slowly rotting away. As Alex followed this smell closer, he found a deep bronze Grimer surrounded by one human and many Pokémon corpses. This Grimer was slowly pulling these corpses into his body to digest them. After Grimer digested these corpses, Alex suddenly realized that the potential of this Pokémon had increased. Pokémon, Grimer. LV, 34. Type, Poison. Abilities, Stench. Gender, Male. Potential, Shallow Silver. Moves, Poison Gas, Pound, Harden, Minimize, Disable, Sludge, Screech, Toxic, Innate Talent, Poison Jab. Alex, who saw this Grimer's potential rise as he ate those dead bodies, was a bit shocked. This is the first time he's seen a wild Pokémon increase its potential. Although it is possible to increase your potential by eating Pokémon with good potential, the amount of Pokémon you have to eat for this method is far too high to be used effectively. The items from a corpse are much more ineffective than eating Pokémon. Therefore, this method is not only questionable but also relatively ineffective. Especially when you consider that Pokémon food can also increase the potential of a Pokémon. Of course, only if you eat high-quality Pokémon food, what Alex bought last time, for long enough. And the higher the potential, the longer it takes to be able to increase it only with Pokémon food. For example, Ditto will be able to increase his potential to silver rank in 3 or 4 months with the help of these Pokémon foods. But Crobat has to eat these expensive Pokémon foods for many years to increase his potential on the gold rank. But this method is not available for wild Pokémon. So if these Pokémon want to get stronger, they'll have to eat Pokémon or find some other option. Alex called out Sizer from his Pokeball and said, "You can try this fight on your own. If you take too much damage or time, I'll send Crobat to help you." Sizer, who heard this, nodded lightly and flew in the direction of Grimer. Grimer, who mostly uses poison-type moves, shouldn't be a problem for Sizer. So Alex let him fight without any instructions. Alex and his Pokémon watched Grimer get punched like a sandbag by Sizer and felt a bit sorry for Grimer, who couldn't defend himself against a Pokémon that had a lower level than him. For normal trainers, this Grimer was a powerful and dangerous Pokémon. But for Alex, who was almost on the elite rank and owned a Steel-type Pokémon, Grimer was a weak opponent. Crobat, who watched as this Grimer was being beaten up, went to Alex and told him in sign language, "One trainer with 2 Pokémon will quickly arrive here from that direction." Alex, who heard this, declared, "We'd better end this fight quickly. Sizer, hurry up and finish it quickly. Ralts, use Confusion. And Ditto, you transform into Ralts and use Confusion too. Crobat and Cerulean try to protect us from any surprise attacks." After he said that, he looked in the direction from where Crobat had said these uninvited guests were coming from. Chapter 68. Alex's Pokémon quickly defeated Grimer. Alex caught Grimer and waited for the visitor to arrive. After only a few seconds, Alex saw the fellow. A young man with red hair and a friendly face slowly walked towards Alex and his Pokémon. There were 2 Pokémon next to the man. A LV-16 Bronze Geodude and a LV-24 Bronze Graveler. Alex, who saw how weak this trainer's Pokémon were, was a bit relieved. But still, stayed alert in case this man suddenly tried attacking him. The young man called Jerry looked at Alex and his Pokémon. After a short pause, Jerry said, "Hello friend, why are you waiting here?" Alex looked at Jerry and said coldly, "I'm taking a break." He had no interest in making friends with someone who had no talent or connections. Jerry heard Alex's tone but said with a smile, "Oh, I see. It is probably a bit rude, but I wanted to ask if you would like to have a 2v/S2 match with me. I am sure that it will be advantageous for both of us to gain experiences." "Oh, I forgot to introduce myself. My name is Jerry." Alex was a bit confused about why this man was so friendly even though he was so cold to him. Is it because he saw that Alex was much stronger than him? Alex nodded anyway and said, "Okay, we'll send out the weak Pokémon first, then the strong ones." Cerulean, are you ready for your first fight? Cerulean, who has not yet had a real fight, needs combat experience. And what better way to fight his first fight against a Pokémon who has a trainer than against a wild Pokémon against whom he is bound to win? Cerulean walked in front of Alex with an excited expression on his face and got ready to fight. Jerry sent out Geodude to fight. 3, 2, 1, go! Jerry said, "Geodude, use Defense Curl." Alex said at the same time, Cerulean used Taunt and then Rock Polish. Geodude, who wanted to use the Defense Curl, suddenly felt hatred for the Cerulean. He stopped using Defense Curl and got pissed off at Cerulean. He ached to beat up that Cerulean. Geodude, use Rock Throw. Jerry was surprised that Alex could anticipate his plan. A normal trainer under the elite rank is usually not as experienced in Pokémon fighting that he is, because they are not able to predict what their opponent is gonna do. Alex, who played the Pokémon games, knows that if Geodude wants to have a chance for winning this fight, he has to use Defense Curl and Sand Attack often enough. As long as Alex prevents these two moves, Geodude cannot do anything. Cerulean, use Flamethrowers until the enemy is defeated. Alex used Flamethrower because Geodude has a terrible SP def and this move can do enormous damage to Geodude even though it has the type disadvantage. This fight was over after only 1 minute. Geodude, who only had a move that could do little harm to Cerulean, made Cerulean look like a bully. Alex was a little confused about why Jerry wasn't giving up the fight. Geodude had no chance of winning, and yet Jerry let Geodude keep on fighting. He even saw Geodude giving Jerry a disdainful look. Alex, who saw this, thought, Jerry seems to be hated by his Geodude. But Jerry behaves like a very friendly person. Why does he pretend to be a friendly trainer? Is he afraid that I will play a hero when they show his true nature? Jerry's Graveler and Alex's Ralts both got ready for the second fight. Ralts used Magical Leaf, Protect and Teleport to do a lot of damage to Graveler without getting hit herself. Graveler tried using Rock Slide to quickly defeat Ralts. Both Ralts and Graveler, SP Def and HP, have a poor defense, so it depends on who can hit the other faster. Ralts that can use Teleport and Protect in an emergency has an obvious advantage. Although Ralts can only use Teleport 3 times before taking a break, that number is enough to cause severe damage to Graveler. Alex, who saw that Graveler was badly injured and said, "What are you doing? Your Graveler can no longer fight." Before Jerry could answer, Crobat suddenly cried out, 5 people and 11 Pokémon are quickly coming our way. Alex, who heard this, had a dark expression on his face. Jerry, who saw Crobat and Alex talking, said with a cold expression, "Graveler, use Self-Destruct." Crobat and Scizor both did not wait for Alex's orders and flew towards Ralts, and both used Protect to shield Ralts from this attack. A big explosion took place with Ralts, Crobat, and Scizor right in the center of it. Alex, who saw this, knew that an LV-25 bronze Pokémon Self-Destruct couldn't break through the shield of Crobat and Scizor. He was a bit confused about why this man was doing this. This was not a game. As soon as Self-Destruct is used, the Pokémon will be seriously injured. Sometimes the Pokémon that uses this move will die if it is not given medical attention quickly enough. No sensible trainer would use this move even if it is powerful. When the explosion stopped, Alex saw Jerry fly away on a LV-22 Fiero. Alex got mad and said, "Crobat, use Mean Look and then use Fly." Alex knows that the move Mean Look has many requirements before it can be used. During the training, Alex made 2 speculations that are most likely to be true. 1. The move does not work if the target Pokémon has a higher level than the Pokémon who is using the Mean Look. That is because this move is not on expert rank. 2. The further the Pokémon is from where you are using Mean Look, the more difficult it is to use Mean Look successfully. Fiero, who had already flown a few meters, suddenly felt that a strange force was preventing him from flying further in this direction. It froze in the air. Crobat, who was more than 10 lv higher than Fiyero, was able to stop Fiyero from flying away with mean look with ease. Chapter 69. Crobat flew to Fiyero and used Fly against it. Fiyero, who had its trainer on its back, couldn't avoid the attack and was hit in the head. Fiyero's head was severely wounded when hit by the sharp wings. It used Fury Attack to damage Crobat as well. Crobat, who was upset that someone tried to hurt Ralts, didn't dodge but used Fly again. Fiyero, who was surprised that Crobat did not dodge its attack, was hit again in the head when it hit Crobat with Fury Attack. Fiyero, who was hit twice in a row at the same places, became unconscious. Fiyero started falling on the floor together with its trainer. Crobat didn't wait for Fiyero to fall and used Shadow Ball against Jerry, who was still on Fiyero's back. Jerry, who was in midair, couldn't dodge Crobat's attack and was hit perfectly. Jerry now had a soccer ball looking wound on his stomach. His organs folded out of his stomach as he fell to the ground. Alex, who saw this, said, "Crobat, come here. We have to get out of here quickly." Even though Jerry survived that, Alex didn't want to waste any more time. Alex knows that people in this world have a much better body than his world. So even such an injury cannot necessarily kill Jerry immediately. Only if you hit the head or the neck you can kill people quickly in this world. For example, a person in this world can fall from 15 meters to the ground and would only suffer minor injuries. So Jerry won't die, probably. Well, it doesn't really matter to him right now. Alex knew that Ralts can no longer use teleport because she was exhausted due to the battle and said, "Ditto, transform yourself to Ralts and use teleport." Alex was genuinely glad that he had Ditto in such cases. Although he can escape into the air with the help of Crobat, it is not the safest method. When Alex said this, he could see 5 men and 11 different Pokémon running in their direction. Although they were still more than 100 meters away, all of these men were using flying-type Pokémon as mounts and were therefore relatively fast. Alex looked at the information about the 11 Pokémon from the group. 9 Pokémon were between levels 20 to 29, and a Zubat was at level 14. The strongest Pokémon was a Nidoking at level 34. Pokémon, Nidoking. LV, 34. Type, Poison/Ground. Abilities, Poison Point. Gender, Male. Potential, Deep Silver. Moves, Leer, Peck, Focus Energy, Poison Sting, Double Kick, Horn Attack, Helping Hand, Toxic, Thrash, Innate Talent, Megahorn, TM, Protect, TM, Sludge Bomb, TM, Facade, TM, Ice Beam, TM, Surf, TM, Flamethrower, TM, Thunderbolt. After Ditto had transformed into Ralts, it used Teleport immediately. While teleporting, Alex thought, the Zubat is probably used to track down trainers and dodge surprise attacks. This group is really not weak. I should avoid fighting this group directly. After only 10 seconds, 5 men with 11 different Pokémon came to the place where Jerry had fallen to the ground. The leader of this group was a thin man with a large scar on his face. His face changed to an annoyed expression when he saw Alex flee with teleport. He shouted angrily, "John, why didn't your Kadabra cancel out the teleport of the prey?" John looked nervously at the thin man and said, "Sir, the psychic Pokémon was of a higher level than my Kadabra, so it can't disable the teleport." The leader gave him an angry look and said, "Can you at least find out where he's teleported to?" John said while looking down at the ground, "I'm sorry. We were too far away for Kadabra to find out. Now it's too late." The thin man ignored John and looked in the direction of Jerry, who had seen better days before. When this skinny man saw Jerry's bleeding body, he said, "Paul, use your Pokémon to cure this useless idiot before he dies. Didn't I tell him to only target trainers under the elite rank? Why is this idiot looking for prey that can defeat him quickly? Let's wait until he wakes up and explains the matter in more detail." Paul's Pokémon tried to heal Jerry but stopped in a few seconds. It shook its head and indicated that he was already dead. The skinny man saw that Jerry could not be saved and said, Then we better go. The person who can defeat Jerry so quickly is not something we should provoke for no reason. We should instead look for prey that isn't that hard to catch. Alex, sitting under a tree 1 kilometer away from the place, thought about his next steps. He knows that most of the raids end with the killing of the assaulted person. This is to prevent the chance of revenge, and so the police don't know that a group of criminals attack Pokémon trainers. When a pair of regular trainers disappear into the mountain chain of MT Moon, the police won't think much. Everyday trainers disappear somewhere, so that's not surprising. As long as the number is not very high, the police will not investigate. Of course, when a trainer with a high position goes missing, it's a different matter. Alex, who knew that this group must have kidnapped people and probably killed them, seethed with rage. Alex, who has always been a person who believes in revenge, didn't want this attempted attack to go unpunished. The problem was that this group was too strong in a fair fight. Though, it was not fair from the start since it was one person fighting against a group. When thinking about how to kill this group in the best manner, he noticed that it was slowly getting dark. Alex smiled coldly at the idea that had just occurred to him. Crobat and Sizer saw Alex smile wickedly and began to smile like that too. Of Alex's Pokémon, Ralts is by far the most popular Pokémon. Crobat and Sizer saw how Ralts got almost killed, probably badly injured, in this explosion and felt an indescribable hatred for this group. Ralts felt the feelings of her father and the 2 big brothers. She saw their expression and felt sympathy for this group of 5 people. She tried to persuade these 3 vengeance demons but was just ignored. She looked at Ditto for help, but Ditto disappointed her by agreeing to Alex, Crobat, and Sizer's revenge plan. Ralts felt helpless as only she and Cerulean, who was still a child, did not express themselves positively for this revenge plan. Chapter 70. During the night, Alex sat with Crobat and discussed his plan of attack. After 10 minutes, Crobat flew in the direction of the camp. This group was staying in this forest, which was perfect for the plan. Alex and his team were located 1,000 meters away from this group. The only Pokémon from this group that could discover this surprise attack at night was Zubat. Zubat can detect living beings with sound waves, which makes this Pokémon very useful to keep watch at night. Another advantage is that the stronger Zubat Golbat Crobat is, the greater the range of its detection is. That is also the reason why Zubat cannot see Alex and his Pokémon, but Crobat can see their group. The reason why Alex sent Crobat alone is that Crobat can change the sound waves of Zubat so that Zubat only discovers Crobat when it is very close. The reason Crobat can do this is that this Zubat is much weaker than him. So its control with sound waves is much worse than Crobat. Crobat flew in the direction of the group without making a sound. After a few minutes, Crobat was only 20 meters away from the Zubat that was supposed to protect the group from raids during the night. Crobat knows that if he gets any closer than this, he will be discovered by Zubat, and it will warn everyone. After 5 seconds, Crobat suddenly took off at its fastest speed in the direction of Zubat. Within 1 second, Crobat flew in front of Zubat, who had just discovered him, and used Fly against Zubat. Zubat, who was 20 levels lower than Crobat, could not dodge this surprise attack and gets beheaded by Crobat's wing. Zubat did not manage to leave a warning shout and died relatively quietly. Crobat, who had fulfilled his mission, flew to Alex without making a noise. After a minute, Crobat reached Alex and told him what happened. After knowing that Crobat had successfully carried out the first step, Alex got ready for the next step. He got on Crobat's back and flew quietly in the direction of the group. When he and Crobat were 20 meters away from the 5 tents, he took Sizer, Ditto, and Ralts out of their Pokeballs and told them about their next task. Alex said quietly, Sizer, use focus energy and agility for as long as you can. Ditto, use transform and change yourself into Crobat. Then Ditto, Crobat, and Sizer will attack these 5 tents on my command. Try to kill the people in the tents as soon as possible. Ralts, you stay with me and get ready to use teleport if necessary. All three Pokémon nodded and got ready to attack these people on Alex's signal. Alex knows that there is a person and a Pokémon in every tent, so he still needs a retreat plan in case something goes wrong. After seeing that these three Pokémon were ready, he gave them the signal with his hand. Ditto, Scizor, and Crobat all picked a tent and attacked it at the same time. After just a few seconds, Alex heard loud fighting sounds that woke other people up. Alex saw from a distance that Ditto and Crobat had managed to kill the person in the tent. Scizor failed to kill this person unnoticed and was attacked by the Pokémon in the tent. Although the Pokémon that fought Scizor was weaker than Scizor, it was strong enough to last a few minutes. The Pokémon of the kill trainers did not attack Crobat or Ditto but ran away into the forest. It looked like they don't have any positive feelings for their trainer. The two other people heard the sound and ran out of the tent with their Pokémon. The thin man learned that they were being attacked and took his Nidoking out of the Pokeball. Together with the Pokémon in his tent, a 36 Bronze Fearow, he looked at the strength of the attacker. The other man also grabbed his Pokémon, 24 Bronze Fearow, and looked around. When these two men saw that two comrades had already died and the third one was desperately fighting for his life, their first thought was to run away. The thin man looked at the two Crobat flying out of the tents and knew that these two Pokémon were about as strong as his two Pokémon. Together with his two subordinates, he was sure that he can win this fight. He said aloud, "Peter, follow me. We'll go and save Steven." Peter followed the command and walked in the direction of the tent Scizor was attacking. Alex saw that his Pokémon were in danger as they would have to fight against so many Pokémon. He shouted, "Retreat! Come back to me." All Pokémon of Alex flew/ran towards Alex without thinking anything else. The thin man saw that the attacker wanted to flee but did nothing. The Pokémon from this attacker was about as powerful as his Nidoking. He doubted that he could stop these Pokémon from running, especially when these three Pokémon were so fast. He went to Steven's damaged tent and saw how he was doing. Steven was sitting on the floor with a wound on his upper body. Although the wound wasn't very deep, Steven was still bleeding a lot. Steven's two Pokémon also had injuries on the body that were not easy to heal. These two Pokémon would not have lasted long if they hadn't come so soon. The thin man saw how much damage Steven had suffered in a short time and said, "That bastard got us. We only have 6 Pokémon left to fight, and we have no Pokémon that can teleport us away or warns us in the dark. We have no chance against 2 Crobat in the darkness. Our light sources are not large enough to be able to fight sensibly. We have to get out of here as soon as possible." Steven said timidly, "Yes, sir, but if we go into the forest at night, we will definitely be attacked by that bastard. Only in this camp, we have enough light sources to keep us safe. How about we stay here?" The thin man looked at Steven as if he is an idiot and said, "Are you stupid? The attacker also knows that the light sources are our only protection against him. Do you think we can defend these light sources all night? We have to get out of here as soon as possible. Don't worry, I have a plan. We will ride our flight Pokémon and fly over the forest in the direction of the city." Steven, seeing the hope to survive, happily said, "Sir, you are a genius. If we do that, we can all survive." The thin man said with a sarcastic smile, "Oh, really? How great! But this plan has one major disadvantage. The problem is that the 2 Crobats can easily defeat our 3 flight Pokémon in the dark. That means that we have to split up to survive. Everyone will fly on different paths and hope that they are not the one to be selected as a target by the attacker. If we do that, they can only kill one person, and the other 2 can flee." After a few seconds, the 3 men all stepped on their flight Pokémon without a word and began to pray that they would not be selected. Chapter 71. Alex watched the 3 men get on their flight mounts and fly away in different directions. He called back all Pokémon except Crobat and Ditto and thought, the idea is not bad. Ditto is not strong enough to defeat a Pokémon on its own, so I can only chase one person. The skinny man who is the boss of this group is not a bad target. But he is a little too strong for my taste. I'd rather choose a simple target. Alex, who had decided on a target, got on Crobat's back and said, "Chase the man on the right side." Crobat nodded and flew at a fast pace in the direction of the man. After only 20 seconds, Crobat and Ditto caught up with the man. Crobat, that can fly without a sound, was not spotted by the trainer or Pokémon in the dark even when they were only 5 meters away. Crobat and Ditto suddenly attacked the Fiero with the sludge bomb. Fiero and Steven were surprised by these two attacks and could not dodge them. Steven and Fiero were both injured and poisoned. Steven screamed loudly, "FCK! Why am I so unlucky?" Fiero, fly quickly into the forest. Alex said coldly, "Crobat used mean look, and Ditto used sludge bomb again." Steven, who saw that he could no longer escape, shouted, "Mister, can you please stop attacking me? I give up." Alex said coldly, "Okay then. Come with me if you want to live." After saying that, he couldn't help but smile. Steven, who didn't understand why Alex suddenly smiled, had a bad feeling but couldn't do anything but nod. He followed Crobat to an open space to land. After Alex and Steven landed, Alex said, "Call your Fiero back." Steven didn't want to lose the small chance of survival and did what Alex said. Although he was sure that his probability of dying today was 99%, he didn't want to lose the 1% chance of surviving because he didn't try. Alex called Sizer out of his Pokeball and held Steven down. Alex wanted to make sure he would not try anything stupid. After doing that, he asked coldly, "Why did you attack me?" Steven got nervous and said, "Promise not to kill me, and I'll tell you." Alex said coldly, "Okay, I will not kill you. But if you lie, you'll die a painful death." Steven didn't really believe Alex, but he didn't have a lot of options. He said, "Coincidentally, we're looking for trainers under elite ranks here to steal their money, items, and Pokémon. You were chosen as a target." Alex, who had already thought of that, said flatly, "Which organization are you from?" Steven said, "We're from the Cerulean City Arbok gang." Alex had never heard of this gang. He wasn't sure if Steven was lying or if it was a small gang in Kanto. He believed it was probably the latter. He said, Arbok gang? Who is your leader, and what is his strength?" Steven said, "I don't know the boss's real name. He calls himself Arbok. For his strength, it should be at least elite. I don't know more. I swear." Alex was 70% sure that Steven hadn't lied to him. He just wanted to know if he was specifically targeted or if it was just his bad luck. After he found this out, he had no interest in chasing this Arbok gang any further. He looked coldly at Steven and said, "Sizer, kill him." An angry yell of, "FCK, you liar," was the last thing Steven said when Sizer beheaded him. Alex, who saw that, still felt disgusted by the murder. Although this feeling was getting weaker, he couldn't completely suppress it. Although he doesn't like that feeling, he knew it would be stupid to send this man back alive so that the boss could chase him. Alex is not afraid because of Team Rocket's backing, but he shouldn't make enemies unnecessarily. Sizer looked at Alex and said sternly, "I thought you were an honest trainer. If you wanted to kill him, you could have just told him. Why do you have to lie to him?" Alex, who heard the logic from a Pokémon's perspective, couldn't help but laugh. He said with a smile, "I wasn't lying, Sizer. You killed him, not me." Sizer thought for a moment and said with a smile, "You're right. Sorry that I thought you were a liar." Alex knows that lying is a sign of weakness for Pokémon and said nothing further. He collected Steven's Pokeballs and the items he had. 10 Pokeballs. 5 Super Potion. 3 Antidotes. Moonstone, lower quality. 10,500 Pokedollars. Fiero, LV24 Bronze. Raticate, LV28 Deep Bronze. These were the most valuable items that Steven owned. After he had collected all items, he looked for a place where he and his Pokémon can rest. After this exciting day, he and his Pokémon were exhausted. Just as Alex wanted to leave, he received the news from Crobat that several Pokémon were quickly coming in their direction. They were probably attracted by the smell of blood from the corpse. He got on Crobat and flew 50 meters above the corpse to see which Pokémons were running to this corpse. After 20 seconds, more Pokémon could be seen near the corpse. Alex saw a group of Pinsir, and he couldn't suppress his surprise when he saw their leader. Pokémon, Pinsir. LV, 42. Type, Bug. Abilities, Hypercutter. Gender, Male. Potential, Deep Silver. Moves, Focus Energy, Vice Grip, Bind, Seismic Toss, Harden, Brick Break, X-Scissor, Submission, Swords Dance, Thrash, Innate Talent, Toxic, Innate Talent, Hyper Beam, Innate Talent, Substitutes. Alex was surprised to see an elite Pokémon here. Usually, strong Pokémon live in the deeper parts of the forest where there is more food. He flew for a while in the night on Crobat. With the help of Crobat, he looked for a safe place to sleep for him and his Pokémon. After 10 minutes, Crobat found a safe place. There was no Pokémon nearby, and the trees protect Alex from wind and rain. Early in the morning, Alex and his Pokémon sat down to have breakfast. After 30 minutes, Alex and his Pokémon continued into the forest in front of the mountain chain. Alex doesn't have to walk long until he comes out of the woods. Chapter 72. Alex noticed that the trees were getting fewer and fewer as he walked through the forest. He knew that he would soon be out of the forest of the mountain chain. After a few minutes, Alex suddenly saw a stony path that led through many small hills. He also saw from a distance that many rock-type Pokémon lived on this mountain. As far as Alex knows, rock and steel-type Pokémon can only feed on rocks and metals. For example, Cerulean food consists of 80% valuable metal, steel, gold, etc. Alex and his Pokémon looked at the beautiful landscape as they walked along the traveling path. This path was relatively safe for trainers to cross because it was rare for Pokémon to appear here. Although it is not uncommon, it is one of the safest places on Mt. Moon. On the way to Mt. Moon Cave, Alex and his Pokémon met many rock-type Pokémon. Most of the rock-type Pokémon were not very strong, so they could never be a threat to Alex and his Pokémon. He used this time to train Ralts and Cerulean. Cerulean fought the weak Pokémon, 10 to 19 LV, and Ralts fought the relatively stronger Pokémon, 20 to 25 LV. Sometimes there were strong rock-type Pokémon that were defeated by Ditto. Ditto, who can transform into Scizor, is not to be underestimated. Alex looked at the info of all attackers and caught all the silver Pokémon that attacked him. Although he could only capture 2 Pokémon, it was not a bad deal. He thought about catching the bronze Pokémon, but after a bit of thought, decided against it. 30 bronze Pokémon are worth as much as 1 silver Pokémon. Alex doesn't want to waste his space and time catching bronze Pokémon. Don't forget that you also have to heal these Pokémon even after you've defeated them. Although Ralts can heal other Pokémon, she can't do that very often, so he has to use Super Potion to heal those Pokémon. For Alex, who has another way of easily making money, he doesn't want to lose so much time to save a little money. Alex saw other trainers in the mountain area too. Of course, he ignored these trainers. As long as these trainers don't have any gold Pokémon to steal, these trainers are worthless to Alex. For Alex, only strong and talented trainers are worth making friends with. After 3 hours, Alex arrived in front of Mt. Moon Cave. Mt. Moon's cave has many different tunnels that are roughly divided into 2 groups: main tunnel and branch tunnels. The main tunnel is relatively safe and well illuminated. This tunnel leads directly towards Cerulean City. On the other hand, the branch tunnels are unexplored areas. You have to go on an unknown path that is entirely dark. But these branch tunnels also have a lot of treasure and valuable Pokémon, so there are always trainers who want to try their luck. Some people find valuable items and come out without a word, and some people go in but never come out. With countless branch tunnels, it's easy to get lost or run into a powerful Pokémon. One of the most unfortunate/infamous incidents is when a person went into the branch tunnel of MT Moon's cave and got lost for 2 months. When he ran out of food, he and his Pokémon had no choice but to eat the Zubat that attacked them. The problem was that Zubat hardly has any meat on its body to feed on. It is said that when they came out of the tunnel, the person looked like a living skeleton. And his Pokémon were on the verge of death like him too. After this happened, the Alliance began to urge the trainers not to rush into the unknown tunnel, and the steady stream of explorers going into branch tunnels gradually stopped. Of course, there were still some people who can't keep their greed under control. For these people, the Alliance said nothing. After all, can you suppress the freedom of these people? When Alex and his Pokémon entered the cave, they saw a halfway illuminated tunnel that had many branches that were embedded in the dark. Alex thought, these branch tunnels are pretty tempting. All the valuable items and Pokémon you can find are really seductive. But is it really worth the risk? I don't think so. I'm not that desperate in my life for some valuable items and Pokémon. The reward for the risk is just not worth it. Although with the help of Crobat, I don't have to worry about getting lost, I may meet a Pokémon that is far too strong for me and my Pokémon. It's pretty dangerous without Ralts's teleport. And if Ralts is not able to use teleport at that time somehow, then it would be troublesome. No matter how I see it, it's not worth it. Crobat led Alex and his Pokémon ahead as they walked down the main tunnel. Along the way, he and his Pokémon were sometimes attacked by weak Zubat, which Ralts defeated swiftly. After a few minutes, Alex and his Pokémon met an Onix. Pokémon, Onix. LV, 25. Type, Rock/Ground. Abilities, Rock Head. Gender, Male. Potential, Shallow Silver. Move, Bind, Harden, Rock Throw, Tackle, Stealth Rock, Rage, Screech, Dig, Slam, Innate Talent, Headbutt, E. Alex said, Ralts use Will-O-Wisp and then Growl. Onix was crawling fast like a snake towards Ralts as she charged her move. When Onix was only a few meters from Ralts, he was hit by Ralts's move. Onix suddenly felt that his whole body was hot and that he was slowly and consistently getting weaker. Onix shouted loudly and used Headbutt against Ralts, who had just used Growl against him. Alex said, Protect and then Magical Leaf. Ralts and Onix fought each other for a bit before Onix could no longer withstand Ralts' attacks, who has tremendous terrible SP def. Alex went to Ralts, who was bleeding a lot, and healed her with Super Potion. He praised her and stroked her head as he healed her injuries. Although Ralts was not gravely injured, it was still the worst injury Ralts had ever suffered. Ralts, who could not use teleport in the cave due to lack of space, had no choice but to endure some attacks of the Onix. Ralts felt that Alex was very proud of her and found herself smiling like a little child. Suddenly she saw her whole body starting to glow. Ralts began to evolve. Alex, who saw this, immediately took out the Lugia scale that he had bought from Lisa and gave it to Ralts. He said with a smile, Ralts, absorb the psychic power from this scale. Ralts nodded and began to absorb the psychic power from this scale. After 30 seconds, Ralts' body stopped glowing. Alex looked at Kirlia's info and said with a smile, Bullseye. Chapter 73. Pokémon, Kirlia. LV, 27. Type, Psychic/Fairy. Abilities, Telepathy. Gender, Female. Potential, Shallow Gold. Moves: Growl, Confusion, Double Team, Teleport, Disarming Voice, Lucky Chant, Magical Leaf, Heal Pulse, Draining Kiss. Innate Talent, Disable, E, Innate Talent, Calm Mind, Innate Talent, Dazzling Gleam. TM, Protect, TM, Shadow Ball, TM, Will-O-Wisp, TM, Thunderbolt, TM, Thunder Wave, TM, Helping Hand. Kirlia's evolution was a great success. Not only was Kirlia able to increase her potential, but she also got 2 optimal innate talent moves. Having Calm Mind as an innate talent is like winning the jackpot. It's like Scizor gets Sword Dance as an innate talent move. As soon as this move reaches the expert rank, Ralts's SP stats will increase considerably. Dazzling Gleam is also a great move to have as an innate talent move. Not only does the move have a good attack power, but it also has a wide attack range. This move is much better in this world than in the game. With this wide attack range, Kirlia can not only hit several enemies at once but also make it difficult for an individual enemy to evade the attack. Alex's original plan was to use Ditto as his third Pokémon at the Kanto Rookie Tournament. But after Kirlia got so strong, he decided to make her the third member of the team. From the 16th onwards, there will be 3vs/S3 Pokémon format battles at the Kanto Rookie Tournament. Ditto was Alex's third choice before Ralts's evolution. Ditto is not very strong in 1v/S1, but Alex didn't have many other options. Alex, who now has 3 shallow gold at a relatively high level, felt the confidence to perform well in this tournament. He also had 17 days to train his Pokémon. He estimated that his team would have 2 Pokémon of at least LV35 and 1 Pokémon of LV30. While walking up the cave, Alex thought about which moves Kirlia should train. After Alex and his Pokémon walked down the main tunnel for 1 hour, Crobat suddenly yelled, "2 people are coming our way from this branch." Alex looked curiously towards the branch tunnel to see which trainer dared to walk from there. Usually, only very strong trainers or very courageous trainers dare to enter the branch tunnels. After 20 seconds, a man in his 30s and a young man, the same age as Alex, came out from the branch tunnel. The man had a cold expression as he walked next to the young man like a bodyguard. Next to this one was a Machamp who protected him and the young man. The young man next to the man had light blue hair and a friendly expression on his face. Next to this young man was a silver Medong. When Alex saw this young man, he immediately thought of a person from the games. Stephen Stone, the son of the president of the Devon Corporation and the future champ of Hoenn. Alex looked at the info of 2 Pokémon. Pokémon, Machamp. LV, 51. Type, Fighting. Abilities, Guts. Gender, Male. Potential, Shallow Gold. Moves: Leer, Low Kick, Focus Energy, Bide, Seismic Toss, Karate Chop, Brick Break, Submission, Bulk Up, E. Innate Talent, Light Screen, E. Innate Talent, Rock Slide, E. Innate Talent, Dig, E. TM, Superpower, E. TM, Earthquake, TM, Poison Jab, TM, Protect, TM, Facade, TM, Thunder Punch. Pokémon, Medong, Shiny. LV, 43. Type, Psychic/Steel. Abilities, Light Metal, Hidden Ability. Gender, Genderless. Potential, Shallow Diamond. Moves: Takedown, E. Confusion, Magnet Rise, Metal Claw, Pursuit, Bullet Punch, Miracle Eye, Zen Headbutt, Scary Face, Psychic, Agility, Meteor Mash. Perfect Talent, Earthquake, E. Perfect Talent, Rock Polish, E. TM, Ice Punch, TM, Thunder Punch, TM, Light Screen, TM, Reflect, TM, Protect, TM, Sandstorm, TM, Facade, TM, Brick Break, TM, Rock Slide, TM, Psycho Cut, TM, Rest. Alex, who saw the potential of Medong, couldn't help but be jealous. It was already a shallow diamond and still had 1 evolution left. With the money that Steven has, he can definitely find items that can improve his potential to evolve. So this Medong was bound to become a diamond Pokémon in the future. He thought, is this the strength of the strongest Pokémon from the future champ? But Alex wasn't the only one who admired the Pokémon in front of him. Steven, who entered the main tunnel, saw a Cerulean that aroused his interest. Steven, who is very interested in rock and steel-type Pokémon, couldn't help but look in the direction of the Cerulean. He's seen a lot of Cerulean, but none of them were this impressive. He had a lot of experience with rock and steel-type Pokémon and was always relatively good at assessing the potential of such Pokémon, roughly. According to his assessment, this Cerulean had outstanding potential. And with the right training, it can even join his main team, top 6. Steven looked at Alex's other Pokémon and saw another Pokémon who he thought had high potential, Scizor. Although it had worse potential than Cerulean, it was still a Pokémon that most trainers would never own. He looked at Alex's other Pokémon but couldn't tell if these Pokémon had good potential, but he didn't think that these Pokémon had a much worse potential than the other two. Steven looked at Alex and realized that he was the same age as him. He was a bit surprised that a trainer his age had so many good Pokémon. Especially when Alex does not come from a prosperous family. Steven knows all trainers in the same generation, and Alex was not from an upper-class family in Kanto. So Alex was probably a civilian trainer. Steven was very impressed by this. As a good businessman, he likes to make friends with other talented trainers. He calls it a potential investment. Steven walked towards Alex and said with a smile, "Hello, friend. I just happened to see your Pokémon, and I have to say that I'm very impressed. I have a Pokémon that has a similar LV to your Cerulean, and I wanted to ask if you are interested in a 1v/S1 match." Alex looked at Steven's radiant face with a bit of a surprise. Why is Steven talking to me? Has he seen Shieldon's potential? Is this Steven as nice a person as he is in the games? He probably saw Shieldon's potential and sees me as a trainer with good potential, so that he wants to have a match with me to have a connection. He is indeed a businessman's son. After thinking about it a bit, Alex agreed to Steven's request. Cerulean can benefit hugely from fighting a Pokémon owned by Steven. And Alex can also use this chance to try to make friends with Steven. Apart from the fact that Steven has a good character and would probably not betray Alex, having Steven as a friend will bring Alex many advantages. Chapter 74. Steven took a Pokeball out of his Pokebelt and threw it on the floor. A little Aaron appears in front of the Pokeball. Steven smiled and said, "This cute Pokémon is just 2 weeks old. It should be a good match for your Cerulean." Alex looked at the info from the Aaron. Pokémon, Aaron. LV, 13. Type, Rock/Steel. Abilities, Rock Head. Gender, Male. Potential, Gold. Move, Harden, Tackle, Mud Slap, Headbutt, Metal Claw, Rock Tomb. Innate Talent, Rock Polish. Innate Talent, Sandstorm. Innate Talent, Protect. Alex, who saw Aaron's potential, couldn't help but become jealous. Gold potential with 2 further evolves that make it relatively easy to bring this Pokémon to the Shallow Diamond. He had the feeling that Steven would have 5 Shallow Diamond, maybe, and 1 Diamond Pokémon as a team in the future. Alex, who realized this, wasn't surprised that Steven would become the champion of Hoenn with this team full of monsters. Cerulean and Aaron got ready for the match. 3.21, Go. Alex and Steven give their first order at the same time. Cerulean used Taunt. Aaron used Rock Polish. Both Pokémon tried to use their move as quickly as possible. Aaron managed to use Rock Polish before Cerulean managed to use Taunt, so that had managed to use Rock Polish once. Alex, who had already expected it, said Cerulean used Rock Polish twice. Steven saw that he had no choice but to attack Cerulean and said Aaron used Metal Claw 2 times. Cerulean, who uses Rock Polish now, had no choice but to refuel these attacks. Fortunately, Shieldon's defense is good enough that he was hardly harmed from this attack. Alex saw that Cerulean was done with the move Rock Polish and said with a smile, "Cerulean, keep your distance from Aaron and use Flamethrower." Cerulean, who was now much faster than Aaron, could now always keep a distance between the two. Steven, who saw that Aaron could no longer fight in hand-to-hand combat, said Aaron use Mud Slap. Cerulean and Aaron traded attacks, both sustaining damage. Aaron suffered more damage than Cerulean in the exchange because of his SP def was much worse than Shieldon's. The problem was that Cerulean had a lot of dust on his face, which made it a bit difficult for him to hit Aaron. Alex knew that it was not optimal but had no other attack possibilities, so that he only let Cerulean continue to use flamethrowers. He hoped that he wasn't so unlucky that Cerulean often missed his attack. After 3 minutes of intense fighting, the fight was over. Cerulean could hit and defeat Aaron with his most attacks. Cerulean won, but he suffered a lot of damage and probably couldn't hold out much longer. Steven brought out a max potion and healed his Aaron. Aaron woke up immediately with the help of this excellent healing. He looked at Steven with a sad expression as he thought of his defeat. Steven, who saw this, said with a smile, "Aaron, don't be sad that you lost, everyone loses. As long as you are stronger next time than now, I don't think you will lose again. I'm proud of you for how brave you fought." Alex looked at this and thought he looks like a friendly person. At least his Pokémon. Though he's really ridiculously rich. He uses a max potion directly to heal his Pokémon if a super potion would have been enough for those injuries. Waste 5,000 Pokédollars just like that. Even I feel pain for such wasting. Steven, who has perked up his Pokémon, goes with his hand out towards Alex. He said, "Congratulations on winning. Your Cerulean is really strong." "Oh, I forgot to introduce myself. My name is Steven Stone, nice to meet you." Alex shook Steven's hand and said with a smile, "Thank you, Steven, but the victory had more to do with luck than with ability." "My name is Alex, I'm happy to meet you." Steven smiled at Alex and said, "Alex, you don't have to be humble, your Cerulean deserved victory." Do you happen to be going in the direction of Cerulean City? Maybe we can go there together and talk about Pokémon training." Alex, who was waiting for such a chance, nodded with a smile. The two trainers and Steven bodyguard went through the main tunnel. Alex and Steven talked about all the possible training methods they can use to train their Pokémon. Alex learned a lot from sharing with Steven. Steven also showed Alex which stones he found in this cave. Alex looked especially at the two stones that look very familiar to him. For Alex, these two stones look similar to the Dome Fossil and Helix Fossil of the games. He is 90% sure that these two stones are these fossils. He said to Steven with a smile, "Steven, I know a bit about stones to be able to tell you that these two stone fossils of two extinct Pokémon. To be precise, they are the Pokémon Omanyte and Kabuto. There are two types of fossil Pokémon in this world. 1. The normal fossil Pokémon that is born in this world. 2. The fossil Pokémon that has been revived from a fossil. The second type of fossil Pokémon has the highest potential and strength but is hard to come by. The trainers who own such a fossil Pokémon can be counted on one hand. While the reason why the second type of fossil Pokémon is much stronger is not clear, it is undeniable that they are better versions of fossil Pokémon." Alex heard that none of the resurrected fossil Pokémon has any less talent than S talent, Gold. Although this is just a rumor, it is a temptation for Pokémon trainers. The problem is that not only do you have a complete fossil of this Pokémon, but you also have to build a special machine to revive it. Alex had no problem giving Steven this valuable information because he can judge Steven's character well. He thinks Steven would make up for this information well. Then buying it for the fossils from Steven and then using it himself was not a good option for Alex. He can't really do much with these fossils, unlike Steven, who had enough money to develop a machine to revive these Pokémon. Alex thinks it's better for him that Steven owes him what? Such a favor can be very useful to him. Steven had a surprised expression on his face when he heard this. He said with a smile, "Really, the Pokémon Omanyte and Kabuto? If that's really the case, these stones are priceless. I heard that a man once developed a machine with which one can bring these fossils to life. I've been looking for such fossils for a long time." The bodyguard who overheard this conversation said coldly, "Young master, are you sure this trainer is telling you the truth?" Steven stopped smiling for a moment and said, "Alex, how sure are you about yourself?" Alex looked at Steven briefly and said, 99% sure. "But I can understand why you don't believe me, but that's the truth. If you don't believe me, you can ignore what I said." Steven heard Alex's words and started smiling again. He said, "Alex, of course, I believe you. I just wanted to make sure you're sure." Alex didn't think so, but he still smiled softly. Chapter 75. After Alex and Steven left Empty Moon Cave, they went their separate ways. Alex and Steven got along well and exchanged their contact details before their path parted away. Alex, who had come from Empty Moon Cave, saw a big city in the distance. Cerulean City was a big and vibrant city with strange gym leaders. The gym leaders of Cerulean City is not Misty, but the sensational sisters, Daisy, Violet, and Lily. Alex heard that the mother of Misty and her sisters died a couple of months ago, so it is not yet decided who will be the new gym leader of Cerulean City. The Alliance recognized the talent of the four sisters and did not deprive them of their rights as the new gym leader of Cerulean City as long as they made excellent progress within 1 year. Alex and his Pokémon were slowly walking down Empty Moon Mountain as they were walking down the path to Cerulean City. This path was relatively safe for trainers because hardly any strong Pokémon appears on this path. Alex had Cerulean fight these weak Pokémon to train him a little bit. After 1 hour, Alex and his Pokémon arrived. Alex noticed that it wasn't getting dark yet and immediately went to the black market of Cerulean City to buy all the silver Pokémon he could find there. He doesn't want to miss such a natural opportunity to earn money. As Team Rocket captain, Alex can easily see on his TRH device where the entrance to the black market is. Every black market has different ways of getting in and out, which are not easy to find if you are not from a criminal organization. Alex followed his TRH device that leads to a cave outside the city. This cave was hidden in the middle of the forest and was not easy to find if you don't know where exactly it is and how to reach there. He saw 20 Zubat and 10 Golbat hanging on the ceiling in the cave and watching him with a cold expression. Alex, who looked at the info of these Pokémon, noticed that the horde of Pokémon was not weak. The Zubat were between LV 13 to 25, and the Golbat were between LV 22 to 36. If Alex were to enter this cave by force, he would probably be defeated with the collected power of these Pokémon. 30V/S5 Pokémon is no joke. Alex took out the Team Rocket captain uniform and put it on. The Zubat and Golbat in the cave saw Alex in uniform and began to ignore Alex. This cave is a special entrance for Team Rocket members who want to enter the black market. Alex and his Pokémon entered the cave and walked for a few minutes. Fortunately, the cave was lightly lit so that Alex didn't have to move in the dark. After a few minutes, Alex saw this cave end with a door and a guard. The guard at the door had a bored expression on his face and was wearing a Team Rocket Elite member uniform. The guard saw that Alex was a Team Rocket captain and woke up immediately. He saluted Alex and immediately opened the door for Alex. Alex, who felt respect and fear from this man, realized how it feels being a Team Rocket captain compared to a Team Rocket member. He entered the black market of Cerulean City and looked for valuable Pokémon in the black market. Alex walked around for a relatively large black market for 1 hour and bought every silver Pokémon he could find. He didn't forget to change his clothes and face in between shopping to not attract any attention. He had already looked at 70% of the Pokémon on this black market and found 14 silver Pokémon among them. When he was just looking at another Pokémon, he was completely surprised by what he saw. Pokémon, Butterfree. LV, 23. Type, Bug/Flying. Abilities, Compound Eyes. Gender, Female. Potential, Shallow Gold. Moves: Tackle, String Shot, Harden, Poison Powder, Sleep Powder, Stun Spore, Psybeam, Supersonic, Quiver Dance. Innate Talent, Rest, Innate Talent, Toxic, Innate Talent, Dream Eater. Alex, who saw the innate talent moves, couldn't help but be disappointed. The fact that the Pokémon with shallow gold potential had such inadequate innate talent moves was just plain sad. He thought, even though it has poor innate talent moves, it's still a shallow gold Pokémon. But the Pokémon species is a little too weak for my taste. It just has too many disadvantages to train. I prefer to sell it. I already have an idea of how I can make the most out of these Pokémon. Alex went to the stand and bought this Pokémon for 10,000 Pokédollars. The trainer who saw that Alex was ready to spend so much for a Butterfree couldn't help but laugh inwardly. When he took the money from Alex, he couldn't help but think, I'm lucky that I got such an idiot as a customer. He was willing to pay 5 times as much for a Pokémon. What an idiot. If Alex knew what this man was thinking, he would probably look at him with a disdainful look. That idiot just lost his chance to make 8 million Pokédollars. As talent, gold, Pokémon are relatively difficult to buy and always cost at least 5 million Pokédollars. Oftentimes they are only found and sold at auction by big criminal organizations. Even the weakest Pokémon species are sold for at least 5 million Pokédollars. And if a strong Pokémon species like Dragon Pokémon are being sold, the price can go up 100 times. Of course, as talent Dragon Pokémon are rarely sold by other trainers, so it appears in an auction at most every 3 years. Chapter 76. Alex sat in an expensive hotel in Cerulean City to rest. He took out his TRH device and called Lisa with it. After a few seconds, Lisa answered the call. Lisa, Alex, what is it? Why are you calling me today? Alex heard Lisa's annoyed tone and said, Executive Lisa, I'm sorry if I bothered you, but I wanted to suggest a deal to you. Lisa, a deal? Okay, you have my interest. What is it that you want to make a trade with me? Alex, one of the S-talent Pokémon. Lisa, what, really? Which Pokémon? And what do you want for this Pokémon? Alex, I have an S-talent Butterfree, which is at level 22. As for the exchange, I want 150 liters of Lugia blood and 50 Lugia scales with psychic power. Lisa, what, so much? You have to know that Lugia can't just make Lugia scales with psychic power. If Lugia makes a scale with psychic powers, she can't train any more psychic moves for the rest of the day. It's similar to that of the blood. Her body is weakened when I take 3 liters of blood so that she cannot do any physical training for the whole day. If I sell you that, Lugia will hardly be able to train for 50 days. Alex, yes, but you will have one more S-talent Pokémon. The only reason why I am completely ready to accept this exchange is that it is a win-win situation. With this amount, there is a good chance that I can improve Kirlia and Crobat's potential. If it works, I will have exchanged one S-talent Pokémon for 2 S-talent Pokémon. What do you think of this deal? Lisa thought for a few seconds and couldn't suppress the attraction of an S-talent Pokémon. As the weakest Team Rocket executive, she needed more talented and powerful Pokémon. She only has Lugia as an SS talent Pokémon. The rest are A-talent Pokémon. She knows that if she only has one good Pokémon, even if it's quite strong, she won't get very far. 6 S-talent Pokémon against 1 SS talent is ordinarily not a close battle. She recognized that this deal was already very beneficial and said, okay. I will send you 3 liters of blood and a scale over the TRH device for the next 50 days. Alex, who heard this, couldn't help but grin. He said, thank you very much, Executive Lisa. Can I send you the Pokémon over the TRH device? Lisa, yes, but it needs to be approved by a Team Rocket executive in order to do it. And I have already unlocked your device. Alex saw how his TRH device had a new option on the screen. He used it quickly and sent the Butterfree to Lisa. A few seconds later, Alex got a message from the TRH device that Lisa had sent items and that it had to be confirmed. Alex confirmed the message, and a few seconds later, a large blood bag and a scale with a purple tinge appeared in front of Alex. Crobat saw the blood bag in Alex's hand and couldn't help but show an excited expression. Alex hoped the Crobat and Kirlia could increase their potential by absorbing these items for the next 50 days. Of course, Alex knows how difficult it is to increase the potential of a Pokémon. Thus he was not sure that it will work for 100%. Alex wasn't thinking about raising the potential of only Kirlia and Crobat. He had already thought about how he could get valuable items for Cerulean and Scizor. With the help of Steven Stone, Alex would have no problem getting valuable items for Rock and Steel-type Pokémon. Steven Stone would soon ascertain that Alex hadn't lied and probably will thank Alex for his help. He will use that chance to buy valuable items from Steven Stone. The only Pokémon where Alex still had no way to improve his potential was Ditto. But he was sure that it won't be long before he can find or buy valuable items for Ditto. Alex wanted to bring Ditto's potential to shallow gold, at least. Alex and his Pokémon had breakfast together again. Alex's all Pokémon eat high-quality and delicious Pokémon food, so the atmosphere at breakfast is always good. Of course, Crobat and Scizor are very proud Pokémon who have an indifferent expression during breakfast. Only Cerulean knows that Crobat and Scizor secretly enjoy this time with the family. Alex had planned to stay in Cerulean City for 2 days to sell the 14 silver Pokémon here. He didn't want to miss the chance to make so much money. Later that day, when Alex was training his Pokémon, he got a call from Steven Stone. Steven, hey, am I talking to Alex? Alex, hey, Steven. Why are you calling me so late? Steven couldn't suppress his excited voice when he said, Alex, you were right. The 2 stones were really fossils of Omanite and Kabuto. If you hadn't told me that they were fossils, I would probably not have the 2 stones in a laboratory. They also found out that these fossils are intact, and there is a chance to bring these Pokémon back to life. Alex thought, you would have discovered it yourself at some point. Steven kept talking about the fossils until he spoke something that Alex had been waiting for. He said, Alex, I can't thank you enough. If you need any help with Pokémon, I will do my best to help you. Alex smiled and said, really? Thank you, Steven. I really need your help with this one thing. I have raised enough money to buy valuable items that can increase the potential for Cerulean and Scizor. But I couldn't find any valuable items for rock and steel-type Pokémon that meet my requirements. So I was hoping that you can sell me some high-quality items. Steven, no problem, Alex. I have exactly the right items you need. I will send them over to you today. Are you still in Cerulean City? Alex, yes, I'm at the Sapphire Hotel. Steven, okay, I'll have the things brought to you in 1 hour. Besides, you don't have to pay for them. See it as a thank you for the tip with the fossil. Alex, thanks, Steven, for the help. But I really have enough money to pay for these items. Steven laughed and said, haha, Alex. You want to give me your money? Don't worry, I'm not short on money. Besides, these fossils are worth a lot more than the items that I am sending you. Don't worry, I am not losing anything. Alex smiled and said, okay, thanks for the help, Steven. You are a good friend. Steven smiled too and said, no problem, Alex. Chapter 77. An hour after the conversation between Alex and Steven ended, Alex heard a knock on his door. He opened the door and saw Steven's bodyguard standing in front of him. He looked at Alex and said, hello, I'm Steven Stone's bodyguard. I'm supposed to deliver these items to you. Alex saw him taking out a Pokédex and knew what the man wanted to do. The Pokédex and the TRH device have almost the same functions. This means that the Pokédex can also store items. The man entered Alex's room, and 2 big boxes appeared in Alex's room. The boxes were quite large and had a height similar to that of Alex. Also, when Alex tried to lift the box, he noticed that these boxes were quite hefty. The man said, okay, I'm done with my job. I wish you a nice day. Also, I wanted to apologize for what I said about you last time. Alex knew that he now had a different position as Steve's friend. He said, it's okay. I can understand why you would be skeptical of trainers whom you just came across. The man smiled with a nod and said goodbye. Alex, who said goodbye to the bodyguard, opened one of the 2 boxes. This large box contained 30 individual pieces of steel and 2 lances. There was also a piece of paper attached to the lances. He took a closer look at the 2 lances and realized that these lances came from the Pokémon Escavalier. Alex took the piece of paper and read it. Lances from an S-Talent Escavalier at the champion rank. Also, steel from the same Escavalier. Alex could not help but hold his breath. The champion rank Pokémon is no joke. Only the Pokémon who are at level 60 or higher is considered as champion rank Pokémon. Although champion rank Pokémon is an unattainable rank for normal trainers, it is a minimum for the Elite Four and the champion of the region. Even the weakest Elite Four trainers have at least 3 champion rank Pokémon. In addition, every champion of the region have at least 6 champion rank Pokémon. Every trainer who has 3 champion rank Pokémon is called a champion trainer. There aren't many champion trainers in the Pokémon world, but each of those trainers is considered a one-man army. Getting the corpse of such a Pokémon is extremely difficult. Alex couldn't help but get excited about these items. Sizer saw Escavalier's lances and couldn't help but look greedily at them. He suppressed his instinct to eat these lances. Sizer, who is now a Steel-type Pokémon, can eat steel without any difficulty. Alex, who saw this, was curious to see if Sizer will increase his potential when he eats these lances. He said, "Sizer, you can eat these lances." Sizer had a joyful expression when he found that he can consume these lances. Alex was shocked at how sharp Sizer's teeth are as he chewed on the steel of the lances like chewing gum. Maybe these lances would be harder to eat if they were still attached to an alive Pokémon. I read that the body of a Pokémon becomes a good deal softer after it dies. Sizer was enjoying this delicious meal when he felt his body getting stronger and stronger. When Sizer finished eating and digested both lances, Alex looked at Sizer's information again. Pokémon, Sizer. LV, 34. Type, Bug/Steel. Abilities, Technician. Gender, Male. Potential, Shallow Gold. Moves: Leer, Quick Attack, Focus Energy, Double Team, Feint, Fury Cutter, Wing Attack, Agility, Slash, Razor Wind. Innate Talent, Roost, E, Innate Talent, Metal Claw, Innate Talent, Brick Break. TM, Protect, TM, Toxic, TM, Thief, TM, Facade, TM, Giga Impact, TM, U-Turn. Alex saw that Sizer could not successfully improve his potential and couldn't help but scream out loud, "FCK. Are you kidding with me? A corpse of an S-Talent Escavalier on the champion rank is not enough? It is really more arduous to improve the potential of a gold Pokémon than of a silver Pokémon. Maybe when Sizer eats 30 pieces of steel, he can improve his potential. Of course, it is more effective if he eats only 1 piece of steel per day so that he can absorb the energy of the piece of steel entirely. I hope that at least these 30 pieces of steel would be enough to improve his potential." Alex suppressed his disappointed expression and opened the other box. The box was a little different from the other box. This box contained 30 steel and 30 rock pieces. Also, it had a big gray steel plate with a piece of paper. Alex read the piece of paper. Steel plate from an S-Talent Agron on the champion rank. Also, steel and rock from this Agron. Looking the items that couldn't imagine to have so easily and so soon in such large quantity, Alex thought that he made the right decision to give Steven a favor. Steven, who can get such valuable items so effortlessly, is a really precious friend to have. Without Steven, Alex may have to search for these items for months before he has a chance to find them. And that doesn't mean he would be able to get them so easily in such high quantity. Not to mention, this was free for him. He looked in the direction of Cerulean when he thought, maybe if Cerulean eats the big gray steel plate shortly before he evolves, he can reach deep gold. Though probably not. The difficulty of getting a Pokémon from shallow gold to deep gold is not that easy to overcome. Ha ha ha. I'm getting so greedy. I'm no longer satisfied with a gold rank Pokémon now. Alex stored the items in his TRH device as he continued to train his Pokémon. He had now more and more self-confidence to get a high rank in this tournament. With a little luck, I might even win it. Though Alex soon started laughing at his own thought. Chapter 78. A young man with a Cerulean next to him was slowly walking down the streets of Celadon City. This young man suddenly saw a red cap that looked familiar to him. He looked at this red cap for a few seconds before buying it for 10 Pokédollars. When he wore the red cap, the young man felt like he suddenly became a lot cooler. Cerulean looked at her trainer, who was so happy to wear a boring red cap, and was confused. The cap doesn't look particularly good or cool to her. It's just a red cap. Of course, the young man who bought this red cap was Alex, who came to Celadon City 14 days ago. He used Crobat as a flying mount to get from Cerulean City to Celadon City comfortably. Alex flew over a forest that could not be entered in the games and was only seen from the map. In this world, there are no limits, so that Alex can theoretically enter this forest if he wants to. Alex was curious about this forest at the beginning and wanted to cross this forest on foot, but when he found out more and more about this forest, he decided against it. This forest is called the Royal Forest and has a lot of valuable items / Pokémon that are sought out by all trainers. As the name of the forest suggests, you can find and catch the 3 royal Pokémon of Kanto from here. The 3 royal Pokémon of Kanto are, of course, Bulbasaur, Squirtle, and Charmander. Each region has 3 royal Pokémon who have this name because of their roots to noble trainers who often own one of the 3 royal Pokémon. But this is not the main reason these Pokémon are called that. The main reason is that every royal Pokémon has a minimum of a talent, and no royal Pokémon has ever been found with a lower potential than that. That makes each of these Pokémon particularly valuable and popular among trainers. So why did Alex fly over this forest that has so many valuable items and Pokémon? The reason was simple. The Royal Forest has another name. The Trainer Grave. All those trainers who enter this forest don't come out of it alive or unscathed. Even elite trainers are not safe in this forest. Alex, who knows this, is not arrogant enough to think that he can safely get through this forest because he has a Pokémon with teleport. He knows that he's not the only trainer who has a Pokémon that can use teleport. If such trainers can frequently die in this forest, it shows that Alex's escape plan may not work well in this forest. He looked for information on why and how these trainers died but couldn't find anything in particular. Most of the trainers appeared to have been killed by surprise attacks. Even elite trainers had the same fate. Alex, who did not have enough information about this forest, would of course not try to enter this forest out of greed. Maybe when he is more powerful and knows more about this forest, he will come to this forest. Alex was having dinner with his Pokémon in an expensive hotel for trainers in Celadon City. The next day would be the registration day for trainers who want to take part in the Kanto Rookie Tournament, which was going to start in 3 days. Alex's Pokémon have trained hard to get a little stronger before this tournament. Alex was quite contented with the results. Pokémon, Crobat. LV, 35. Type, Poison/Flying. Abilities, Inner Focus. Gender, Male. Potential, Shallow Gold. Moves: Absorb, Supersonic, Astonish, Bite, Wing Attack, Confuse Ray, Swift, Haze, Leech Life, Mean Look. Innate Talent, Shadow Ball, E. Innate Talent, Fly, E. Innate Talent, Cross Poison. TM, Protect, TM, Toxic, TM, Sludge Bomb, TM, Facade, TM, Taunt. Pokémon, Sizer. LV, 35. Type, Bug/Steel. Abilities, Technician. Gender, Male. Potential, Gold. Moves: Leer, Quick Attack, Focus Energy, Double Team, Feint, Fury Cutter, Wing Attack, Agility, Slash, Razor Wind. Innate Talent, Roost, E. Innate Talent, Metal Claw, E. Innate Talent, Brick Break. TM, Protect, TM, Toxic, TM, Thief, TM, Facade, TM, Giga Impact, TM, U-Turn. Pokémon, Kirlia. LV, 30. Type, Psychic/Fairy. Abilities, Telepathy. Gender, Female. Potential, Shallow Gold. Move: Growl, Confusion, Double Team, Teleport, Disarming Voice, Lucky Chant, Magical Leaf, Heal Pulse, Draining Kiss, Psychic. Innate Talent, Disable, E. Innate Talent, Calm Mind, E. Innate Talent, Dazzling Gleam. TM, Protect, TM, Shadow Ball, TM, Will-O-Wisp, TM, Thunderbolt, TM, Thunder Wave, TM, Helping Hand. Pokémon, Ditto. LV, 32. Type, Normal. Abilities, Imposter, Hidden Ability. Gender, Genderless. Potential, Shallow Silver. Move, Innate Talent, Transform, E. Pokémon, Cerulean. LV, 21. Type, Rock/Steel. Abilities, Sturdy. Gender, Male. Potential, Shallow Gold. Move, Protect, Tackle, Taunt, Metal Sound, Takedown, Iron Defense. Innate Talent, Rock Polish, E. Innate Talent, Sleep Talk, Innate Talent, Flamethrower. A lot had happened in these 14 days. Alex, who was now closer to becoming rich, still a long way to go, didn't skip on training equipment and training items like Energy Root and thus managed to make training more effective. Alex spent 70,000 Pokédollars in 14 days on training equipment and training items alone. Although it doesn't look like much because Alex has so much money, it is a ridiculous amount for normal and even rich trainers for just 14 days. Maybe, only the true rich trainers like Steven Stone would have higher expenses in 14 days than Alex. But Alex didn't regret spending so much money to make his Pokémon faster. Alex would even pay 10,000 Pokédollars per day for a few % faster growth. Alex, who is now on the land of this new world, knows how strength is much more important than money. If you are strong enough, you can get money easily, but if you are rich, it doesn't necessarily mean that you are strong. In these 12 days, Alex trained the body of the Pokémon and a move for each Pokémon. Because Alex knew that he only had time to get one move per Pokémon to the expert rank, he decided to train each of his Pokémon's most important move for 14 days. In this world, most of the trainers usually train the body of the Pokémon much more than the move's mastery. Although this is not necessarily wrong, Alex thinks that it is relatively ineffective to train his Pokémon like this. For Alex, the Pokémon body training is the base for all other types of Pokémon training. For example, if you're training punches from a battle Pokémon, each move of punches will do a little more damage. The move that Alex chose for his Pokémon are Crobat, Fly. Kirlia, Calm Mind. Scizor, Metal Claw. Cerulean, Rock Polish. Ditto, LOL. Not only had the move's mastery improved these last days, but also the potential of a Pokémon. Scizor, who now eats the steel from the Escavalier every day, was able to successfully increase his potential in 11 days. This showed that the Escavalier's lances were not completely useless and made it easier for Scizor to increase his potential. Compared to him, Crobat, who drinks the blood of Lugia every day, showed no signs of increasing his potential. Chapter 79. Alex noticed how much easier it was to increase the potential of a Pokémon during their evolution. He could not help but wistfully think of Zubat's first evolution. If Alex had better items back then, Crobat might also have reached gold potential by now. He felt a little guilty about wasting Crobat's potential. Although he didn't have any good Pokémon items at that point, he couldn't hold back this feeling. Alex knows that poor trainers often dispose of their first Pokémon when they find a better Pokémon. For example, a poor trainer's first Pokémon is usually a normal potential Pokémon that he trains for months. After this poor trainer has trained his normal potential Pokémon to sufficient strength, this trainer will find many ways to buy and catch Pokémon with bronze or even silver potential, with luck. After this poor trainer has more and more Pokémon that have much better potential than his starter Pokémon, he'll often throw away his starter Pokémon like trash. Although cruel, it is often the case with most Pokémon trainers. These trainers see Pokémon only as tools that can be replaced at any time. Alex, who sees his Pokémon as a family, despises such trainers very much. He doubts that the really strong trainers would treat their Pokémon that way. Even Giovanni from Team Rocket treats his Pokémon very well. As you can easily see that he will Mega Evolve his starter Pokémon Beedrill in the future. This shows that he and his Pokémon have a special connection. Celadon City Arena. Alex walked to the registration office for contestants from the hotel where he stayed over. He only had to walk a few minutes before he saw a line in front of the registration office. More than 30 trainers lined up in a row and waited for their turn. Alex noticed that even if the line was a bit long, it only took 50 to 70 seconds before the next person's turn came. So Alex didn't have to wait long before his turn came. After 40 minutes, it was Alex's turn to move in front of the registration office. A beautiful woman around 30 years old looked at Alex and said with a smile, "Hello, please give me your ID card." Alex, who knew that only Alliance trainers can take part in this tournament, gave this woman his ID card. The woman put the card on the scanner for a second before handing it back to Alex. She said with a smile, "Do you want a normal registration or the seed spot registration?" Trainers who register for this tournament have two different types of registration. With normal registration, you can take part in the tournament free of charge. To register as seed spot, the trainer has to meet two requirements. 1. Her 3 Pokémon must have an average level of 30. 2. She has to pay a fee of 1,000 Pokédollars. But the trainer who registers this way has a great advantage. Seed participants will not fight against other seed participants in the preliminary round. And because almost all the strong participants are seed participants, you won't have to worry about strong opponent in the preliminary round. Although it is not suitable for normal trainers, this rule makes sense for Alex. If there wasn't such an option, the two strongest trainers in the tournament could end up against each other in the preliminary round due to bad luck. With this option, the strongest trainers will only meet in later rounds of the tournament. Alex said, "I want to register for the seed place." The woman looked at Alex and said, "Okay. Please put your 3 Pokémon that are going to participate in the tournament on this machine." Alex put the Pokeballs of Crobat, Scizor, and Kirlia on the machine. This machine looked similar to the one from the Poke Center. The beautiful woman looked on the screen with Alex's Pokémon's data and said with a smile, "Good, your Pokémon's average level is LV 33.33. You are entitled to get a seed place. Here is your participant number. If you have any questions about the rules or the schedule of the tournament, you can visit our website for the Kanto Rookie Tournament. I wish you a nice day." Alex took the participant number that showed the number 68 and made way for the next person. He looked thoughtfully at this machine as he left. He had read on the internet that this machine can not only discover the level of a Pokémon but also whether the Pokémon is from this trainer or not. How exactly does this machine know who is the trainer of a certain Pokémon? How exactly is it determined that a Pokémon is of the trainers and not of someone else? No matter how I think about it, there is no logical answer to it. Well, at least the participants cannot cheat due to this machine by competing with a strong Pokémon of another trainer. Alex sat down at a quiet restaurant and ordered something to eat. While waiting for his meal, he took out his TRH device and opened the page of the Kanto Rookie Tournament. Alex looked at the website and looked at the rules. 1. The participants and the participants' Pokémon are forbidden to attack other participants. 2. Pokémon are forbidden to kill or mutilate other Pokémon. 3. Participants are prohibited from using other Pokémon than they have registered. 4. If a Pokémon passes out or if the trainer of the Pokémon gives up, that Pokémon will be considered lost. Alex skipped the obvious rules. No need to list all the logical rules. 15. In the preliminary round, the participants will fight 1v/S1. When there are only 64 participants left, 2v/S2 fights will be used as the format. The format 3v/S3 will be used for the round of top 16. 16. Items or held items are prohibited for use. 17. The participant may change his Pokémon only once per battle. 18. The Pokémon of both participants may not go deeper than 5 meters under the ground or fly over 15 meters permanently. Also, the participants or the Pokémon are not allowed to leave the battle arena during battle. After Alex had gone through the rules and eaten his food, he went to the hotel to prepare his Pokémon for the tournament that will start in 2 days. Chapter 80. 2 days later. Alex opened the website of the Kanto Rookie Tournament on the TRH device. He clicked on the tournament tree to see if the details of his battle today. Registration ended yesterday, so the tournament tree was now visible to all participants. Alex was surprised to find that there were more than 500 participants in this tournament. But he had to admit that this tournament was really tempting for rookie trainers of Kanto. You can register for free, and if you manage to get into the top 64, you can win valuable items. He went to the tournament tree to see who he has to fight today. Contestant number 487. Pokémon, Dojuo LV20, Dojuo LV22, Pidgeotto LV20. Alex saw that even Cerulean can defeat the strongest Pokémon and was a bit disappointed. Although it is good to have a weak opponent, it will hardly help Cerulean gain strength if she defeats such a weak opponent. Celadon City Arena. Alex sat in the waiting room for the participants for the F block and waited for his turn. After half an hour, Alex saw his number on the screen. He went in the direction of the F block arena with his participant number and ID card. As he entered the arena, he saw several trainers fighting in different blocks. The Celadon City Arena was humongous and was surrounded by numerous spectator seats. Imagine a football stadium. Alex looked around curiously when he entered this arena. Although the spectator seats are empty because the tournament has not yet started, this arena was really spectacular. He knew that the tournament will officially begin only in 2 days with 64 participants. When he went to the F block, he immediately saw the F block referee standing by the battlefield. The referee was a young man with blonde hair. Alex greeted him and showed him his participant number and ID card. The referee checked Alex's identity and confirmed his presence. If the participant does not manage to get into this arena within 15 minutes, the participant will lose the fight. After just a few minutes, Alex saw a youthful child who looked like a 13-year-old kid. The expression of this child was very nervous when he showed the referee his ID and participant number. This child also seemed to know the strength of Alex's Pokémon. Thus he hardly had any hope of winning this fight. He just hoped this fight could give his Pokémon a good experience. The blonde referee made a hand gesture to indicate that both participants should call out their Pokémon. Alex took the Pokeball and called out Cerulean on the battlefield. The child did the same. Pokémon, Dojuo. LV, 22. Type, normal/flying. Abilities, early bird. Gender, female. Potential, deep bronze. Move. Growl, peck, quick attack, rage, fury attack, agility. TM, protect. The referee said, "Both trainers ready?" "Okay. 3, 2, 1, go!" Alex looked at the child when he said emotionlessly, "Calm mind and teleport as soon as he tries to attack you." The child said at the same time with a nervous voice, "Dojuo, use agility." After only a few seconds, Cerulean had used Calm Mind, while Dojuo was still trying to use agility quickly. Alex saw how long this Dojuo took and said, "Cerulean, use Psychic and end this fight." The kid screamed loudly, "Dojuo, use Quick Attack to evade." Alex, who heard this, couldn't help but look at this child with an appreciative look. Although this kid wasn't strong, he was not really weak for a rookie trainer. You can even say that he was very talented for a trainer his age. He also understands how to make decisions instantly and make most of his situation in order to have a chance to win this fight. Unfortunately, you are too weak to have a chance, thought Alex when he saw how Dojuo couldn't dodge Cerulean's attack with Quick Attack. Dojuo, who had a terrible HP and SP death stat of 35, passed out immediately. The referee shouted, "Participant 487 Pokémon passed out. Participant 68 won this round." The child saw how easily his Pokémon was defeated and suppressed his grief as he healed his Pokémon with a potion. Alex, who saw, knew that this child does not have a lot of money, so he can only use potion even though it is not ideal for such an injury. The kid has really good potential. It's a shame that he hardly has any money to utilize his potential. Later, I would need talented subordinates whom I can trust. This child can be a useful subordinate in the future. But I have to become friends with him first before I can decide whether he is a good option or not. Alex quickly put on his friendly face as he walked in the direction of the child. The child looked at Alex with a confused expression as he was walking in his direction. Alex said with a friendly smile, "Hey, kid. Nice fight. My name is Alex, and I was really impressed with your talent in this fight." The kid looked at Alex to determine if Alex was serious about what he just said. It sounded very ridiculous to him when his Pokémon couldn't even take on a single attack. Even though he knew that his Pokémon was stronger than that and that his Pokémon had good talent, he wasn't entirely sure if Alex was being earnest with the compliment. When he saw that Alex's tone wasn't that of mocking, he said, "Oh, thank you. My name is Fran, and this is my first time in a tournament." Alex and Fran talked to each other as they left the arena to make room for the next participants. By talking to Fran, Alex was able to roughly understand Fran's circumstances. Fran's mother and father were regular Alliance members and not trainers. So Fran became the first Alliance trainer of his family. Even though Fran's family wasn't rich, they could just about afford to finance Fran's dream. After the conversation, Alex and Fran exchanged contacts and went their separate ways. For Alex, Fran was not an ideal subordinate because he was still too friendly and had too many goodwills for the Alliance. He also had a family that could influence him. Fran wasn't talented enough for Alex to ignore the drawbacks. Alex went to a restaurant near the Celadon City Arena for something to eat. After 2 hours, Alex had his next fight. As far as he knows, he must win 2 more rounds in order to enter the top 64. Chapter 81. When Alex was waiting for his second round, he opened his TRH device to see his next opponent. Contestant number 177. Pokémon, Butterfree LV20, Beedrill LV23, Beedrill LV21. Alex, who saw how weak his opponent was, couldn't help but wonder how this trainer survived the first round. After 2 hours, it was finally Alex's turn. When Alex entered the F-Block arena again, he saw the blonde referee and a young man around the same age as him. He greeted referees and the opponent as he got ready. Both Alex and his opponent took out their Pokémon. Kirlia and a Beedrill were standing on the battlefield. Alex looked at the info of Beedrill and quickly became disinterested when he saw that it was an LV23 bronze Beedrill. The referee said, "Both trainers ready? Okay. 3, 2, 1, go!" Alex didn't want to waste his time anymore, so he said, "Finish it with Psychic." The trainer said at the same time, "Beedrill, dodge, and use Poison Sting." Alex started laughing in his mind when he saw that this trainer thought he could avoid Kirlia's Psychic without another move. Kirlia not only had a much higher potential but also a much higher level than this Beedrill. So it simply had no chance to avoid Kirlia's attacks. Kirlia used Psychic and met Beedrill with this Psychic power. Beedrill, who had no chance to evade, suffered a great amount of damage. Its whole body started bleeding when it was hit by this attack. Beedrill's trainer had a worried expression on his face when he saw the damage Beedrill had suffered. The trainer saw that he couldn't win this fight and said, "I give up." The referee said loudly, "Participant 487 gave up. Participant 68 wins this round." The trainer went to the sad Beedrill and encouraged him with a smile again. Alex, who saw this, couldn't agree more. Only trainers who have treats their Pokémon well have a future in the Pokémon world. It's a real surprise to see a trainer who loves his Pokémon so much with such a weak strength. He is a bit similar to Ash. Although he is not a talented trainer, his love for his Pokémon is a huge advantage for him. That is probably the reason why Professor Oak sees Ash as a better trainer than Gary, even though Gary has more talent as a trainer. Most trainers only see their Pokémon as tools, some trainers see Pokémon as their friends, and very few trainers view their Pokémon as family members. Alex knows that the strongest trainers see their Pokémon at least as friends, and the trainers who treat their Pokémon like family members have a higher chance of being strong trainers. He can count dozens of powerful Pokémon trainers who love their Pokémon very much. It is much less common to find a strong Pokémon trainer who doesn't treat his Pokémon well. When Alex saw the trainer wanting to leave the battlefield, he followed him. He talked to him a bit and exchanged Pokémon training tips. The Beedrill's trainer is called Daniel. In the beginning, he had a very cold attitude towards Alex when Alex tried to talk to him. But after Alex had talked about the possibility of exchanging training methods, he couldn't help but chat with Alex longer. Alex knew that this weak trainer could not offer him any good training method, but he used it as an excuse to talk to Daniel. The more he talked to Daniel, the more he realized how cold Daniel was to him. And the more he felt that Daniel would become an excellent subordinate for him. Daniel lost his parents in a Pokémon riot a few years ago. He lived a tough life with the compensation money received from the Alliance. Alex also noticed that Daniel was talking about the Alliance with an unfriendly expression. Although he did not say negative things about the Alliance, Alex did notice his dislike of the Alliance. Alex couldn't help but think, something is definitely wrong here. His parents were killed by the Pokémon riot, and he is a Pokémon trainer who likes his Pokémon very much. The Alliance gave him enough money to support himself, and he still has that look on his face when he talks about the Alliance. He's hiding something from me. But Alex had to admit that it made sense that he wasn't going to tell him his life story. Which fool would tell a person they hardly know everything about themselves? The fact that he talked a little bit about his past already shows that he had a relatively good impression of Alex. Alex and Daniel talked to each other while Alex was waiting for his next opponent. After an hour, Daniel left, but not before giving Alex his contact details. Alex had a good impression of Daniel after this talk. Relatively cold to people. At least a neutral attitude towards the Alliance. Good potential as a trainer, well yes, but actually no. Doesn't have any relative. After Alex finds out more about him, he may choose him as his direct subordinate. As a Team Rocket captain, Alex has the right to take up to 2 other Team Rocket trainers as his subordinates. Alex knows that having a talented subordinate who can be trusted can be very beneficial. And he thought that Daniel was a very good option. While waiting, he looked at his last preliminary round opponent. Contestant number 297. Pokémon, Shrimish LV-17, Rosalia LV-20, Vileplume LV-30. Should I let Kirlia fight or play it safe? I'd rather not take unnecessary risks. After about 1 hour, Alex stood in front of the blonde referee again. The trainer of the Vileplume was a girl around 17 years old. Alex pulled out Crobat, and the girl pulled out her Vileplume without any surprise. Pokémon, Vileplume. LV, 30. Type, Grass/Poison. Abilities, Chlorophyll. Gender, female. Potential, Deep Silver. Moves: Absorb, Growth, Acid, Poison Powder, Stun Spore, Sleep Powder, Razor Leaf, Mega Drain. Innate Talent, Solar Beam, E. TM, Protect, TM, Sludge Bomb, TM, Facade, TM, Substitute, TM, Toxic. When Alex saw this Vileplume, he couldn't help but be relieved that he didn't send Kirlia to fight. Although Alex thought that Kirlia would still win anyway, this fight would be unnecessarily long and tense. When the girl saw that Alex didn't pull out his weakest Pokémon, she couldn't help but look annoyed. She knew her only chance to win this fight is when Alex sends his Kirlia to the fight. Chapter 82. Both trainers ready? Okay. 3, 2, 1, go! Alex said coldly, Crobat, use Taunt and then confuse Ray. The female trainer said at the same time, Vileplume, use Sleep Powder. Crobat was faster than Vileplume in using the move and was safe from the Vileplume using the Sleep Powder. After Crobat successfully used Taunt, he started using Confuse Ray. The female trainer saw the Vileplume could only attack and said, use Solar Beam. Solar Beam is a move that gets stronger during the day. Especially in the summer, this move is devastating. Now in an open arena, under the strong sunlight, this move was not only powerful but very quick too. Alex knew that but was still surprised by the speed Vileplume's solar beam charged up. Even though Crobat started using his move a little earlier, Vileplume blasted off the solar beam at nearly the same time Crobat used Confused Ray. Both could not dodge the attacks as they were in the still position and were hit by the enemy's move. Crobat couldn't move because his Confused Ray was not on expert rank, and Vileplume didn't have any time to move as it started using the move later than Crobat. So it blasted the solar beam as soon as it was charged up. Crobat, who was hit by Vileplume's strongest move, took a little damage. Alex wasn't surprised by the fact that Crobat took only a little damage from this attack. Crobat that has a 4-fold resistance to grass-type attack can easily handle a solar beam. Especially when you consider that Crobat is 5 levels higher than Vileplume. The female trainer saw that Vileplume was confused but said, "Use solar beam again." Alex, who heard this, couldn't help but laugh. Crobat, dodge with fly. Crobat flew high in the air and successfully dodged Vileplume's attack. After successfully evading the attack, he dived in the direction of Vileplume. The female trainer knew that this attack would cause great damage to Vileplume if hit, so she said, "Vileplume, protect yourself." Crobat flew at breakneck speed towards Vileplume, who was using Protect. Vileplume's shield couldn't withstand Crobat's attack even for half a second before it broke. Although Protect was able to reduce the damage caused by Crobat, Vileplume still suffered a lot of damage. Vileplume only had around 70% HP after this attack by Crobat. The female trainer didn't know what to do when she saw that. She said after a bit of hesitation, "Try Sludge Bomb." Alex, who saw this, said with disappointment, "Finish it by using Fly again." Although Crobat was hit by a sludge bomb while flying upstairs, the damage inflicted on him was minimal. Crobat successfully knocked Vileplume unconscious with Fly and easily won the fight. Participant 297 Pokémon passed out. Participant 68 won this round. Alex saw how easily Crobat won and couldn't help but let a smile appear on his face. The blonde referee went towards Alex with a smile and said, "Participant 68, congratulations on your victory. With this, you have finished all preliminary rounds and successfully enter the top 64. Please go to the info box after this match to get your new participant number." "Thank you. I'll go there now. Good luck." Alex went to the info box of the arena and gave his participant number there. After Alex's identity had been checked, he got a new number. The woman at the info box said in a professional tone, "This is your new number. The number is sorted according to the level of the participants. It is done to prevent the strongest participants from fighting each other early in the tournament." Alex looked at his number and had to suppress his surprised expression. He walked out of the arena, and then he whispered, 6. That meant that the average level of Alex's Pokémon was 6th highest. Alex, who saw the number, couldn't help but think about how his chances of winning the tournament were almost non-existent. In the history of this Kanto Rookie Tournament, no participant with a number higher than 3 has ever managed to win this tournament. Although the level of a Pokémon does not necessarily represent the strength of a Pokémon, Alex does not underestimate the advantages of having a higher level. In this world, differences in level are particularly noticeable. Especially when you reach benchmark levels like level 40 and 60, also known as Elite and Champion rank Pokémon. That reminded him of the time when he had to defeat Maria's Ekans and her Rock Slide with his Zubat. Alex's Zubat could only withstand 2 strikes of Rock Slide and hardly cause any harm to the Ekans. Probably almost all trainers in the world would lose that fight in his situation. But Alex almost managed to win. Although he lost at the end, it was a very close fight where he had a 50/50 chance of winning and losing. Maybe with a bit of luck, he could have also won that match. But he isn't the type of guy who makes excuses. He doesn't want to rely on luck to win the battles. As he thought about this past, Alex screamed in his mind, 6. 6! FCK 6! I will win this tournament. Even if a person with a number higher than 3 has never won this tournament, I will be the first person to do so. I am sure that with the right tactics, I can defeat even an elite Pokémon. I only lost the last time because my tactics weren't perfect. It's not impossible for me to win this tournament, and I will prove it. When Alex walked out of the arena with a cold expression, Alex saw a beautiful blonde woman with a microphone and a camera team following her. The beautiful blonde woman looked at Alex's participant number in his hand and walked along with the camera team in his direction. Alex knew that this woman probably wanted to do an interview with interesting participants before the tournament starts. Although he had no interest in becoming famous, he couldn't help but think about an advantage that this interview could bring him. The beautiful woman looked at Alex and said with an enchanting, fake smile, "Hey, trainer. We're from Pokeworld TV and wanted to ask if you have some free time for an interview." Alex looked emotionlessly at the reporter's fake smile and said, "Okay." The beautiful woman couldn't help but show a surprised expression. She had met many young male trainers but never someone who was not even a little bit fascinated by her. She guessed that he must have learned to keep his urges in check. While Alex had an expressionless face when interacting with the blonde reporter, inside he couldn't help but feel attracted to her body, but he can practically always keep his emotions in control. Aside from Maria, Alex had never met a woman/person who could affect him emotionally except his family members. That's why Maria is very special for him. Chapter 83. The beautiful woman looked at Alex and said with a friendly smile, "Try to stay relaxed. If you don't like a question, you can always deny it. It's not live, so you don't have to worry about saying something wrong. It would also be good if you had one of your Pokémon standing next to you so that it is interesting for the audience." Alex gave his usual fake smile and agreed to the interviewer's words. He got Curlia out of her Pokeball and told her to stay next to him. The blonde woman showed Alex an OK sign as she counted down with her finger. "Hello, dear viewers. We are in front of the Celadon City Arena, and almost all preliminary round battles are finished. This trainer here is Alex, who showed a lot of potential in the preliminary rounds. He is one of the strongest rookies taking part in this tournament with a participant number of 6. Alex showed a fake smile when he said, "Hello there." Curlia also smiled as she waved her hands to the camera. Unlike Alex, her smile looked much more sincere. The blonde woman asked, "Alex, the tournament will start tomorrow. What rank do you think you will achieve in this tournament?" Alex thought a bit when he said, "I will probably surprise a lot of people with the rank I get. I have too many expectations from the great me. To be honest, getting only 6th rank would be a failure for me. I am here to win this tournament. Only the top rank is suited for me." The blonde woman was surprised that Alex said it so confidently. Normally, almost all trainers are humble and try to avoid telling what position they could possibly reach. She asked, "Alex, you seem to be pretty sure that you will reach a higher rank than 6th. Why are you so sure that you can surpass all the expectations?" Alex showed an arrogant expression when he said, "Because the level is not the perfect way to measure the strength of the Pokémon. The most important thing about a Pokémon is not levels but the willpower." The blonde woman looked at Alex in surprise when she heard such a reply from Alex. Willpower is important, but not as much as move mastery, body mastery, LV, and tactics. She thought that Alex was an arrogant kid who hadn't trained his Pokémon properly. She found a perfect target to make fun of. She said to Alex with a fake smile, "Alex, willpower is surely important. But what is move mastery, body mastery, LV, and tactics to you?" Although Alex was actually quite delighted that she asked this question, but he showed a different expression on his face. He said with an arrogant expression, "Mph. Useless against the power of willpower. Only levels are a training reason, everything else can be ignored. Especially tactics. Ha ha ha, who is so stupid to waste his time like a coward thinking about tactics? With the burning willpower, my Pokémon and I will destroy everyone in our path." The blonde woman suppressed her grin when she heard Alex answer. Then she saw Curlia's confused look. She took the chance to ask directly, "Alex, your Curlia seems a bit confused by your answer. Can you explain that?" Alex looked at Curlia with a false angry expression when he said, "She got that from Sizer. Although she still listens to me, she is not as obedient as Crobat." Curlia, who can feel Alex's emotions, knew that Alex was very content with hers, even though he was showing such an expression. She thought about it and understood what Alex wanted to do. After a few seconds, she looked at Alex and gave him a smile. Alex nodded and said, good, you finally understand this truth. The blonde reporter asked, Alex, could it be that Pokémon do not listen to your commands? Alex showed a surprised expression when he said, what? Impossible. You know that only Pokémon that listen to your trainer are allowed here. The blonde reporter smiled as she said, yes, but as long as the Pokémon listens to the trainer's command every so often, it is counted as the trainer's Pokémon. Alex showed an emotionless expression when he said, Ms. Reporter, can you delete this part, please? The reports ignored Alex's question when she said, Alex, thank you very much for this interview and good luck at the tournament. Alex watched emotionlessly as the woman said goodbye and quickly left him alone. When he saw her disappearing back, he couldn't help but smirk a little. He adjusted his red cap a little bit and went to his hotel. In the evening, Alex and his Pokémon were sitting together at a large table for dinner. Alex looked at his Pokémon as he said, okay. I want to tell you all something. We are going to win this tournament that will start tomorrow, and I have a plan where I need the help of all three of you. Almost all Pokémon looked at Alex with a curious look. Except for Curlia, as she had already figured out what Alex's plan was going to be. First of all, you are forbidden to use expert move with the strength and speed of expert rank unless I let you know beforehand. In addition, I will hardly give you direct commands during the fight. So before the battle, I will tell you all the tactics for almost all the possible situations that may occur. You have to follow them in the fight without me saying anything. Don't worry, we will do this only against opponents I am 99% assured to win. In addition, if the situation gets a little tight, I will throw away these deceptions. I hope to be able to surprise one of the top 3 participants with this deception. This will provide us an astonishing advantage. Even if it is only a small advantage, it is worth the preparation. Maybe with a little bit of luck, this camouflage will only be revealed later. After Alex roughly explained his plan, he said with confidence, let's surprise this world together. Chapter 84. During breakfast, Alex turned on the TV to see if his interview would come out today. Yesterday Alex explained the exact plan and the little details that his Pokémon had to pay attention to so that there is no mistake during the tournament. While this plan is relatively important, it doesn't guarantee Alex's victory, as there are many strong participants in this tournament. This plan is useful for only one time, as all it can do is confuse Alex's first strong opponent and make his path towards his victory easier. Some would think that this method is not worth the effort. But Alex, who wants to increase his absurdly small chance of victory, was ready to use every little trick to win this tournament. Alex is not trying to win the tournament because he wants the prizes, but because he wants to prove to himself that he is an excellent trainer and has the potential to become one of the strongest in the world. Alex and his Pokémon watched the pre-show of the Kanto Rookie Tournament on the TV. In this program, there were 2 different Pokémon experts and a moderator who were talking about the Kanto Rookie Tournament. Alex recognized one of the Pokémon experts. It was Erica, who is the gym leader for Celadon City. Erica recently turned 18 and has been the gym leader of Celadon City for only 3 months. Because the Kanto Rookie Tournament took place here in Celadon City, she was selected as one of the executives. Her arena had also been taken as the venue for this tournament. There was a Pokémon professor whom Alex didn't know. His name was Professor Walder, and he was an expert in the field of bug Pokémon. The male moderator asked questions regarding different aspects of the tournament to both of them from time to time. Alex suddenly heard the moderator talking about an interesting topic for which he was watching TV in the first place. As most spectators already know, the participant numbers are distributed to the trainers according to their Pokémon's average level, so that the strongest people don't meet early in the tournament. In particular, the top 8 can only meet in the quarterfinals. Gym leader Erica, as the winner of this tournament of 2 years ago and as the person who got participant number 1, can you tell us what does this number tell us about the strength of the participants? Erica gave a slight smile as she slowly said, "Oh, that's a tough question to answer. Although the participant with the highest average level is probably the strongest, it is not always true." The moderator asked, "Professor Walder, what do you think?" Professor Walder said with a smile, interesting question. Although the level of a Pokémon is very important, there are also other factors that decide the strength of Pokémon. Especially, the move mastery, body mastery, and tactics can make a big difference if they are trained properly. The moderator nodded with a smile when he heard this answer. Moderator said with a smile, "Yesterday, after the preliminary round, we interviewed a lot of interested participants, and one of these participants had an interesting answer to our question. Let's see what participant Alex has to say about it." With that said, the video of Alex's interview with the beautiful blonde woman started playing. Alex and his Pokémon watched this video and started laughing lightly at the comments that Alex made. Crobat couldn't control his laughter when he heard Alex say, "Haha, who is so stupid to waste his time like a coward thinking about tactics? With the burning willpower, my Pokémon and I will destroy everyone in our path." Alex looked at his laughing Pokémon with happy eyes. It didn't annoy him in the least that they laughed at his words. He was instead very joyful looking at his Pokémon's happy faces. The loneliness he felt when he first came to this world seemed like an old forgotten dream. After the clip was played, the moderator asked Erica and Professor Walder about their opinion. Erica softly smiled as she said, "The participant Alex is really an interesting trainer. While I can't agree with his opinion on Pokémon training, I can't say that willpower is not important to the strength of a Pokémon." Alex, who heard these friendly words from Erica, was a bit surprised. How can a person be so nice? Though Professor Walder reacted quite differently. You could see a tick mark on his face when he said, "What kind of trainer is that? What an idiot of a trainer. It's been a long time since I've heard such a stupid answer to a question. Most of all, his aversion to tactics is incomprehensible for me. I don't understand why this show is wasting time on such a clown." The moderator said with a smile, "Mr. Alex has participant number 6, so he is not an unimportant person." Professor Walder said sternly, "Humph. Only the top 3 numbers really have a chance to win the tournament, so his opinion is not really important. This clown, in particular, won't even be able to make it into the quarterfinals." The moderator asked with an intrigued expression, "Professor Walder, are you saying that he will lose against participants with a participant number 9 or higher? This is the only way he can't get to the quarterfinals." Professor Walder said with a convincing tone, "Yes. There is a very high chance that he will lose to a participant before he can even enter the quarterfinal, maybe even in the first round. Although he has a higher average level than these participants, he is simply too incompetent to really take advantage of this." Alex, who was watching the TV, couldn't help but smirk. Chapter 85. Alex went to the Kanto Rookie Tournament website to see if the tournament tree was ready. He looked at the tournament tree and saw that he was unsurprisingly in the Block F. Participant 1 was in Block A, Participant 2 was in Block E, Participant 3 was in Block D, etc. The top 8 participants were into different groups so that they can only meet in the quarterfinal. Alex looked at his first opponent. Contestant number 42. Pokémon, Ninetales LV27, Jumpluff LV29, Flareon LV26. Now that every round was a 2v/S2 fight, Alex had no worries about training Curly at this time. When he saw how all of his Pokémon had finished eating, he said with a smile, "Let's go." Alex showed his ID card and his participant number before going into the waiting room of the participants. When Alex entered the room, he felt a lot of stares at himself. Some of the participants who had watched the pre-show recognized Alex and looked at him disdainfully. Alex, who saw these participants' looks, showed an indifferent expression as he sat down on a chair. After half an hour, all 64 participants were there. A staff member came into the room and said, "The opening ceremony is about to begin. Everyone, please follow me." Alex and the other participants followed the staff member who led them to the arena. When Alex and the other participants entered the arena, they saw spectator seats filled with people. The arena was packed, and no place was left out. Alex, who saw this sea of people, couldn't help but think of a soccer stadium. When he watched the thousands of people, he suddenly felt excitement in his heart. This feeling made his mind go blank for a while. The staff made Alex and the participants stand in a row in the middle of the arena. Suddenly Alex saw several Pokémon flying in the air and showing a path made of fire and other elements created from their moves. Alex saw the many flag Pokémon with different moves over the arena and couldn't help but be impressed with these fireworks. After only a few minutes, the fireworks were over when Erica appeared on the large podium in the arena with a microphone. Before Erica could say anything, many viewers started yelling, "Princess, I love you! Erica! 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 Nature-loving princess!" Alex, who saw people infatuated with Erica, showed a surprised expression. Erica was even more popular compared to the other gym leaders. Erica showed a warm smile when she felt the audience's excitement. She waited until the audience calmed down a bit before she said, "Welcome to the Kanto Rookie Tournament, dear spectators. We will fight here for 3 days to find out who is the most talented rookie from Kanto. These 64 participants in front of you are the ones who made it so far after the preliminary rounds. Each of these participants is the elite of Kanto and will definitely become a great Pokémon trainer in the future. Please give them a big round of applause." When she said that, the audience roared with applause and cheering, and created an exciting mood for Alex and the other participants. Erica waited until the crowd quieted down, and then she said, "On the first day, the participants will fight 2v/S2 Pokémon battle against each other until only 8 participants are left. Each participant may change his Pokémon once per fight as long as she does not use more than 2 different Pokémon in the fight. And tomorrow, these top 8 participants will fight until we get our 2 finalists for the 3rd day. And on the 3rd and the final day of the tournament, we will know who is the most talented and the strongest rookie trainer of the Kanto." Well, after everything has been said, let's start the tournament. Alex and the other participants went back to the waiting room after the opening ceremony. When Alex was walking by, he unexpectedly noticed a familiar face. This girl had short, orange hair tied into a side ponytail with blue hair elastic. She had green eyes and fair skin. She wore a yellow tank top that showed her midriff, red suspenders, blue denim shorts that stop at her thighs, and red sneakers with yellow lining and white laces. Her whole midriff was showing a flat and beautiful stomach. "Misty," whispered Alex when he saw the girl. When Alex looked at her body, he was convinced that Misty was much older than only 10 years. He would estimate her age around 15 years. He only looked for a few seconds before averting his gaze. Alex felt that Misty was probably the strongest opponent in this tournament. Alex and the other participants went back to the large participant waiting room. There the big TV was switched on so that the participants could watch the ongoing fights. When he saw this, he went to the staff member to ask if he could observe the fights live. However, the staff member said that it was a rule that the participants were not allowed to leave the waiting room as long as they still have a fight left. Hearing this, Alex got annoyed. The system only works when he sees a Pokémon in person. Thus he cannot see the exact information of the strong participants. Though he heard that on the 2nd day, the participants get their separate place to observe the fights live. That means that on the 1st day, he cannot get the information of his quarterfinal opponents. Fortunately, his opponents are weaker than him in this round, so he didn't have to worry too much. When he was thinking about this stuff, he saw Misty and another participant leaving the waiting room with a staff member. He continued watching TV, and he didn't have to wait for long before Misty came on the TV. The commentator introduced the 2 participants to the spectators. Alex completely ignored the introduction of participant number 55 and waited for the introduction of Misty. "Now, I'm going to introduce the participant Misty, who is participant number 1. She is a well-known water-type Pokémon trainer from Cerulean City. She is one of the sisters of the Water Flowers of Cerulean City, and she is the hot favorite to win this tournament. Let's welcome Misty from Cerulean City. Chapter 86. Alex silently watched the whole fight with full attention but couldn't get enough useful information from it. Misty used only her Golduck to quickly defeat the two Pokémon from participant 55. Although Alex wasn't sure, he believed that Golduck might not be at elite level yet. After the fight was over, Alex waited for the other participants to fight. He mainly looked at the top 8 participants. The trainer with participant number 4 was called Roberta, and she won her battle easily with her victory bell. When Alex saw this blonde girl, he felt that he had seen her before in the Pokémon games, though he couldn't pinpoint exactly where he had seen her. This victory bell from Roberta looked strong, but not so strong that Crobat or Scizor would lose against it. Although Alex knew that it was most likely not the strongest Pokémon of Roberta, it still helped him increase his self-confidence. As long as the strength difference is not that big, Alex thought he had a good chance to win this tournament. Alex started focusing again when it was participant number 2's turn. The trainer's name was Junichi, and he was wearing a karate tracksuit with a black belt. Alex couldn't think of anything other than the fighting dojo in Saffron City. Although he wasn't sure whether he would be the main boss of that fighting dojo, he was confident that this trainer had at least one high position in this fighting dojo. He didn't remember the name of the fighting dojo's head, so he wasn't exactly sure whether he would be the future head of the fighting dojo. Junichi quickly defeated his opponent with his Hitmonlee, so Alex could not find much from this fight. As Alex was looking thoughtfully at the TV, a staff member walked in his direction. Participant 6, right? Your fight is about to start. Please follow me. Alex and a young girl walked out of the participant room as they followed this staff member. When Alex entered the arena, he heard applause and mockery from the audience. Haha, is that the willpower guy? Willpower guy, give up before you embarrass yourself. Idiot! King idiot! It seemed that some people in the audience had seen the pre-show, and they were making fun of Alex. Alex wasn't surprised by this and didn't show an expression on his face. In comparison, contestant number 42, the female trainer, was much more popular with the audience. She was treated by the audience like a hero who was supposed to defeat this idiot. The referee looked at both participants as he explained the rules again. Alex and the female trainer looked towards the referee, and they called their first Pokémon at the same time. Kirlia and a Jumpluff appear at the same time in the arena. Are both participants ready? Okay. 3, 2, 1, go! Pokémon, Jumpluff. LV, 29. Type, Grass/Flying. Abilities, Chlorophyll. Gender, Male. Potential, Deep Bronze. Moves: Splash, Synthesis, Tail Whip, Tackle, Fairy Wind, Poison Powder, Stun Spore, Sleep Powder, Bullet Seed, Leech Seed, Mega Drain. TM, Protect, TM, Toxic, TM, Energy Ball, TM, Aerial Ace, TM, Facade. Alex acted arrogantly. Kirlia, show this Jumpluff your strength. The female trainer commanded Stun Spore at that time. Kirlia, who had discussed the tactics with Alex before the round, didn't show a surprised expression after hearing Alex's retarded command. She used Teleport to get out of range of Stun Spore and then used Calm Mind. Jumpluff's Stun Spore move had not reached the expert rank, so he could not move while using it. So he had no choice but to cancel the move. The female trainer saw this and said, Jumpluff, go back within the range and use Stun Spore again. When Jumpluff started to prepare Stun Spore again, Kirlia was done using the Calm Mind. Immediately after that, Kirlia used Thunder Wave. Both Kirlia and Jumpluff used their moves simultaneously and hit each other Pokémon with their paralyzing moves. Alex, who saw this, suppressed his smile. He had told Kirlia beforehand that as long as she can paralyze this Jumpluff, she didn't need to worry about getting paralyzed herself. The reason is simple. Jumpluff needs its speed and agility to avoid attacks. Curlia isn't fast enough to dodge attacks in the first place, so the paralyzed state makes a little difference to her. Especially when her primary evasive means is teleport. Jumpluff, now use Leech Seed. Curlia, who heard this, used Disable with a slower speed. Although Curlia didn't use expert rank speed, she was still able to successfully disable Jumpluff's Leech Seed before he can use it. Although Curlia was faster, she was only a bit faster. So the other participants would think that Curlia's Disable is not at the expert rank. Alex wanted to show as little information as possible to the strong participant. Jumpluff, use Energy Ball. Curlia started preparing Psychic before the trainer gave her order. Psychic met the Jumpluff that was just preparing Energy Ball. Although Jumpluff received good damage, it still had enough HP to withstand a few more attacks. Jumpluff SP Def was good enough to handle the attacks of Curlia without losing his focus on his own moves. After tanking this attack, he used Energy Ball. Unfortunately, the Energy Ball was avoided by Curlia via Teleport. Though Curlia wasted a lot of energy using Teleport, it was worth it. After 3 more similar exchanges, Curlia could no longer use Teleport and had no choice but to use Protect. Jumpluff, who had to endure 4 Psychic from Curlia, also knew that it won't be able to take on any more attacks unless he uses Protect. Although Curlia had not taken any harm and Jumpluff had only around 20% HP, Curlia had no more evasive options left. Curlia used Psychic 2 times more and successfully defeated the Jumpluff. The female trainer who saw how easily her strongest Pokémon was defeated had a dark expression on her face. She didn't mind losing to a stronger trainer, but she didn't want to lose to a retard trainer like Alex, who didn't even give a proper command to his Pokémon. Chapter 87. The female trainer called her second Pokémon. Go, Ninetales. Show him what you can do. Alex looked at the Ninetales' info and saw that it was an LV-27 Deep Bronze. He knew that Curlia was very likely to lose without any evasive possibilities, so he changed his Pokémon. Come on, Crobat. Bring me to victory. When the referee gave the signal, Ninetales and Crobat started fighting each other. The fight was not tense and relatively short as Crobat easily won. Not only was he 8 levels higher, but he also had been trained much better than the Ninetales. Crobat took care that his expert rank moves didn't show too much strength and speed as Alex had told him before the fight. But even with this disadvantage, he won this fight with relative ease. Ninetales is unconscious. Participant 6 won this fight. When the referee said the result out loud, Alex's victory was not bathed with applause from the audience, but with a quiet atmosphere. Although individual viewers applauded for Alex's victory, it was not possible to suppress this strange atmosphere. The commentator said with a wry smile, "Wow! Participant Alex seems to be very unpopular." Professor Walder, who saw this, said with a stern expression, "Although he is strong, his attitude towards Pokémon training is fallacious. He also decides to be very arrogant, so it doesn't surprise me that he is so unpopular with the audience." Erica considerately said, "Although you are right, it is a bit mean not to give him the applause he deserves." Alex, who saw the reaction from the crowd, was happy instead of being sad. With this reaction from the audience, his camouflage can be a lot more believable. Of course, he didn't show a happy expression but an expression of suppressed anger when he left the arena. He went to Nurse Joy, who was responsible for healing the Pokémon of the participants. As he watched Nurse Joy put Curlia's Pokeball into a machine, he thought about the Joy Clan. The Joy Clan is very influential in the Alliance and has a monopoly over the medical sector of the Alliance. This clan allows only female clan members to get high positions. Men from the Joy Clan are mostly responsible for raising children and have no real power in the clan. Of course, the female clan members have different looks from each other. Although they all look relatively similar, if you look closely, you can see differences. Alex took his seat and opened the Kanto Rookie website to see the information about his next opponent. Although you can look up this information elsewhere, this website is the most convenient option. Contestant number 22. Pokémon, Raticate LV28, Raticate LV31, Raticate LV32. Alex, who saw the participant's Pokémon, couldn't help but laugh. Wow, he is training the same Pokémon. I wonder if he has even more Raticate. Although it would be stupid in the games, it is not a bad option to specialize in a Pokémon type or even a Pokémon species in this world. Being such a type of trainer has great advantages as well. When he was thinking about it, he suddenly saw an interesting participant entering the arena. It was a Poison-type Pokémon trainer participant who had participant number 3. His name was Mason, and he was a 17-year-old trainer with an indifferent expression on his face. He wore a ninja-like suit with a big red scarf that he wore like a face mask. When Alex saw this trainer, he couldn't think of anyone other than gym leader Koga. Although this trainer is not Koga, he certainly has some relationship with Koga, whom Alex prefers not to provoke unnecessarily. Koga and Sabrina are trainers who Alex doesn't want to provoke, even if he later becomes much stronger than them, because these two trainers have dangerous skills. Koga is a quasi-assassin with superhuman skills and a trainer who is very familiar with poisons. Having such a person as an enemy is a nightmare for any trainer, no matter how strong they are. Sabrina is just a monster. Alex can think of many ways Sabrina can kill him, even if he becomes much stronger than her. The only plan Alex could come up with to effectively defeat Sabrina was to possess a ridiculously strong psychic-type Pokémon that can suppress Sabrina's psychic powers. When he thought of these two monsters, he couldn't help but think of the boss who has them as subordinates. Giovanni's strength is difficult to assess because it differs depending on the platform. In addition, this world is a real world and not the world from the manga, anime, or game. So Alex can't get a lot of information. The second round started immediately after the end of the first round. After a few matches, it was Alex's turn again. He entered the arena with a mocking atmosphere all over again. Although it wasn't as bad as the first time, his popularity didn't seem to have increased. Alex and the male trainer simultaneously called their Pokémon on the field. Kirlia and Raticate came out of their Pokeball and faced each other. Not bad. It's a shame that Super Fong doesn't work as well as it did in games, and it has a lot of restrictions. Well, without these restrictions, this move would be very lethal, thought Alex when he saw the Pokémon. Pokémon, Raticate. LV, 32. Type, Normal. Abilities, Guts. Gender, Male. Potential, Shallow Silver. Move. Tackle, Tail Whip, Quick Attack, Focus Energy, Bite, Super Fong, Crunch, Hyper Fong. Innate Talent, Thunderbolt, E. TM, Facade, TM, Protect, TM, Dig, TM, Toxic. Are both participants ready? Okay. 3, 2, 1, go! The fight between Raticate and Kirlia was relatively tense and close. Kirlia used Calm Mind at the beginning for the reinforcement and dodged Raticate's attacks with Teleport. Although Kirlia was using Teleport, Raticate managed to hit Kirlia a few times with Quick Attack. Alex, who saw this, wanted to tell Kirlia to use Disable on Quick Attack but managed to suppress that thought. He tried to talk to Kirlia via telepathy before the match to test whether it could be used in a fight. But after a bit of testing, Alex found out that Kirlia consumes too much energy to maintain the telepathic connection if there is no eye contact, that it doesn't make sense to use in matches. It is better if Kirlia can use Teleport a few times more often than to talk to Alex via telepathy. Even though Quick Attack isn't a strong move, Kirlia took a lot of damage after a couple of hits. Kirlia is really not a Pokémon that can easily take on attacks. But after using Calm Mind 4 times, her SPATK states became ridiculously high. She managed to defeat Raticate after 3 Psychic. Actually, 2 Psychics would have been enough, but thanks to Raticate's Protect, Raticate could hold out one more move. Although she was able to defeat this Raticate, she used up all of her teleports. In addition, she only had around 50% HP left. But because Kirlia is still strengthened by Calm Mind, Alex did not exchange her. He wanted to see what she would do in such a situation. Chapter 88. The male trainer called his second Pokémon and waited for the signal from the referee. The fight was over pretty quickly with the victory of Raticate. After Raticate hit Kirlia twice, one of which was a critical hit, Kirlia quickly passed out and lost the fight. Even though she hit Raticate twice with Psychic, Raticate used Protect to block one attack. Thus Raticate didn't lose very much HP. Alex called out Crobat and quickly ended this fight. When the referee announced the victory of Alex, he heard the lukewarm applause from the spectators again. Alex ignored it when he went to Nurse Joy again to cure his Pokémon. As he understood, the first day of this tournament is to separate the strong trainers from the weak trainers. In this world, Alex is one of the few trainers who does nothing else but train his Pokémon. Although many trainers train their Pokémon daily, no one is a training monster like Alex, who uses all of his time for training. Alex, who enjoys training his Pokémon, can be described as weird. Even if Alex had no talent and items, he would certainly have become a strong trainer with enough time. Alex, who now had money, is like a reinforced monster that gets stronger every day faster than other trainers. Alex was sitting quietly in his seat as he looked at the information from today's last opponent. After this round, there will be only 8 strong trainers left in this tournament. Contestant number 13. Pokémon, Butterfree LV29, Beedrill LV30, Scyther LV35. Alex noticed that the level difference wasn't as big as before. If he were to underestimate his opponent, there is a possibility of him losing this fight. Of course, he believed that even Crobat alone can defeat this opponent. Crobat vs Butterfree or Beedrill should be a quick win for Crobat. Crobat vs Scyther was likely to be a close match because both Pokémon have the same level and similar base stats. Crobat is slightly better than Scyther in terms of states. Fortunately, Crobat's type advantage is so big that he should win easily in a normal case. He takes almost no damage from a Bug-type move and can do twice the damage with Flying-type moves to Scyther. In a fair match, Crobat should win easily. Fortunately, this opponent is not strong enough for Alex to give up his camouflage. But the fight would be tough enough for Alex to start with Crobat to see if there is any need to send Scyther if necessary. He wanted to prevent unnecessary risks if possible. While thinking, he saw the same staff member walking in his direction again. He followed the staff member from the waiting room to the arena. Participant 13 or Tim looked at Alex with a disdainful look. Alex, who saw Tim, couldn't help but be surprised. Tim's clothes were cheap and worn out. Usually, trainers with Tim's strength could easily afford better clothes. Only trainers who have little money and prefer to use it for their Pokémon wouldn't buy better clothes. Alex was the same before he got rich. It made more sense for him to buy his Pokémon a bit better food than to buy good clothes. Although Alex did not show it on his face, his appreciation for Tim grew a lot. Not many trainers understand how to use their money wisely. Alex and Tim brought out their Pokémon at the same time on the sign of the referee. Crobat and Scyther appeared on the battlefield simultaneously. Pokémon, Scyther. LV, 35. Type, Bug/Flying. Abilities, Swarm. Gender, Male. Potential, Silver. Moves: Leer, Quick Attack, Focus Energy, Double Team, Feint, Fury Cutter, Wing Attack, Agility, Slash, Razor Wind. Innate Talent, Giga Impact, E. TM, Protect, TM, Facade. Giga Impact as an expert move is really lucky. This Scyther can be sold for a lot of money if he wants to, thought Alex when he saw this information. Are both participants ready? Okay. 3, 2, 1, go! Alex said with an arrogant tone, use Fly. Tim said at the same time, Scyther, use Agility as long as it is wasting time up in the sky. Alex knew he would do that but wanted to make his camouflage more believable with this stupid move. While allowing Scyther to use Agility is a bit dangerous, it isn't that bad. Alex knows from testing that Agility doesn't double the speed of a Pokémon. It is similar to games when the speed state is increased by 2 points. But not exactly. In this world, the increase is much lower and depends on the move mastery. Crobat flew high in the air, and Scyther slowly increased his speed. Before Scyther was done with agility, Crobat dived quickly in Scyther's direction. Scyther, after you've finished using agility, use protect. Crobat crashed into Scyther's shield and failed to break through the shield. Alex showed an annoyed expression when he shouted, "Coward. Even my Crobats has guts to fight head-on, so why are you being a sissy?" When the audience heard Alex, many of them started laughing. Alex didn't use the advantages of Crobat at all and preferred to fight in close combat against a Scyther. Although Crobat would likely win even in hand-to-hand combat, this command was quite risky. Only Alex knows that Crobat has a lot of close combat training, so he won't be at a major disadvantage in close combat. With the type advantage, Alex was certain that his chances of winning were relatively good. Even if Crobat lost somehow, Alex still had Scyther in the emergency. He had enough plans not to be afraid of this risk. Okay, Scyther. Fight him in close combat with Giga Impact. Giga Impact on the expert rank is a devastating move and can do a lot of damage. Crobat used Protect directly without Alex's order to block this attack. Although he blocked most of the attack, Scyther still managed to destroy Crobat's shield and inflict a little damage on him. Crobat, of course, took the chance to use Wing Attack. With luck, Crobat struck Scyther in the head and dealt a critical hit. This hit made Scyther's head covered with blood. Tim, who saw his bad luck, couldn't help but curse out loud, "FCK." Scyther ignored his head injury and used Giga Impact again. Crobat also used Wing Attack. Both Pokémon quickly exchanged injuries in this fight. After only a few more trades, Scyther couldn't take the damage anymore and passed out. This blow on the head did too much damage to him to endure any further attack. Even though Crobat won this fight, his condition was really bad. Alex would estimate that he had around 20% HP, and he can't take much more damage. Tim looked at unconscious Scyther with a wild expression on the floor. Alex took the chance to say loftily, "Give up. Even if you beat my Crobat, you have no chance against my Scyther." Although Tim didn't want to admit it, he had to accept that this idiot was right. His Scyther was his strongest Pokémon that had the chance of defeating his other two Pokémon. He didn't even believe that any of his other two Pokémon can defeat this injured Crobat. He should heal his Scyther quickly instead of wasting his time here. He went to the referee and quietly told him that he was giving up. Then he looked at Alex with contempt as he walked out of the arena. When the referee announced the end of the fight, Alex showed an arrogant smile. Alex gave an unsympathetic look to everyone as if he was looking down on them. The spectators did not applaud for Alex after his victory, so the atmosphere of the arena was weird. Alex, who saw this, couldn't help but think that he would become a good actor. Though Alex is not the kind of guy who would say, "I want to be the very best at acting," like no one ever was. Chapter 89. After Alex won his last match of the first day, he didn't have to go back to the waiting room to watch the other matches. Although it makes no difference to other participants, it is essential for Alex to see the Pokémon of his opponent live. When he found a good place to sit, the next and the last fight of the day had already started. Misty against participant number 13. Alex checked out Misty Pokémon during the fight. Pokémon, Golduck. LV, 39. Type, Water. Abilities, Damp. Gender, Male. Potential, Gold. Move: Scratch, Tail Whip, Water Gun, Confusion, Fury Swipes, Disable, Psybeam, Screech, Surf. Innate Talent, Psychic, E. Innate Talent, Iron Tail, E. Innate Talent, Headbutt, E. TM, Protect, TM, Light Screen, TM, Rain Dance, TM, Whirlpool, TM, Hyper Beam, TM, Blizzard, TM, Calm Mind, TM, Toxic. FCK, is this some kind of a sick joke? So many good and expensive TMs and 3 moves on the expert rank. In addition, it's almost on the elite rank. Alex thought about different tactics on how to defeat this monster of a Pokémon. While thinking, he saw how this Golduck easily beat the two Pokémon of participant number 13. After Misty's match, all 3 rounds of the first day came to an end, and Erica started her goodbye speech for all the spectators. Seeing that, Alex left instantly. Alex knew that he still had to face 3 more strong participants against whom he can lose if he is not careful. And Misty is bound to be one of those 3. He went to the official page to know the Pokémon of all the participants. Participant 1, Misty. Pokémon, Golduck LV39, Dugong LV34, Starmie LV42. Participant 2, Junichi. Pokémon, Primeape LV33, Hitmonlee LV40, Hitmonchan LV38. Participant 3, Mason. Pokémon, Arbok LV33, Weezing LV38, Golbat LV39. Participant 4, Roberta. Pokémon, Bellossom LV36, Vileplume LV33, Victreebel LV38. Participant 5, Jack. Pokémon, Rapidash LV31, Ninetales LV33, Magcargo LV38. Participant 6, Alex. Pokémon, Kirlia LV30, Crobat LV35, Scizor LV35. Participant 7, Harry. Pokémon, Sandslash LV29, Nidoking LV33, Pidgeot LV36. Participant 8, Sarah. Pokémon, Pelipper LV30, Shiftry LV32, Staraptor LV34. He also looked at the tournament tree. Misty v/S Harry. v/S? Roberta v/S Sarah. Final? v/S? Junichi v/S Jack. v/S? Mason v/S Alex. FCK, why am I never lucky? It would have been ideal if I were to fight Misty in the first round. That way, I could have made the most out of my camouflage plan. It looks like I can only meet Misty in the final, where she will already know what kind of trainer I am. That is if I can get to the final. Alex silently walked out of the arena in the direction of his hotel. Alex and his Pokémon sat together at a table and ate their food while Alex started on the TV. The commentator said, "Erica, which of the 8 participants do you think you will win this tournament?" Erica softly smiled when she said, "Although I think Misty will win, there is always a possibility that another participant surprises us and win." "Oh, which participants are you thinking of?" "The greatest chance of a surprise victory is probably Junichi, who owns an elite Pokémon." The commentator looked at Professor Walder. "Professor, what do you think?" Professor Walder showed a serious expression and said, after the thinking of a second, "Yes, Misty and Junichi are by far the favorites of this tournament. Although we can't say that another participant can't win this tournament, I think it is very unlikely. Probably Mason has a small chance." The commentator suddenly said an amusing expression, "If we're talking about surprises, let's talk about participant Alex who made it to the quarterfinals." "Professor Walder, didn't you say that it would be difficult for participant Alex to get this far?" "Humph, although you're right that Alex made it to the quarterfinals relatively easily, you have to admit that he fought really poorly and only won because his Pokémon had much higher levels than his opponents. Especially his fight against Bug Trainer was unbearable to watch. His Crobat had so many advantages, and he decided not to use any of it. He fights as if he had just become a trainer yesterday. It's been a long time since I've seen such an incoherent trainer of this level." Professor Walder doesn't seem to like participant Alex. "Erica, what about you? What do you think of participant Alex?" Erica, who heard this question, showed a surprised expression. "Alex seems to be quite popular on this show since we are talking about him a lot. Hee, but I have to admit that his character is really unusual. It is rare to see such a talented trainer with such a personality. It only makes sense that so many viewers are interested in Alex, though not in a positive manner." The moderator started talking about other participants in the tournament. Alex listened carefully when they started talking about Mason, who was his opponent for the next round. Mason seems to be one of the direct disciplines of gym leader Koga and has gathered a lot of knowledge from Koga. Although it was not said what exactly Koga taught him, Alex was sure that this Mason was trained not only for Pokémon training by Koga. Alex thought for a few minutes if it would be possible to defeat Mason without giving up his cover. While it was not totally impossible, Alex thought that he can't take this risk. The fact that he cannot fight Misty directly without his camouflage lowers his chances of winning the tournament. He looked at his TRH device and saw several messages from different people. Maria, hey, Alex. I happened to see the Kanto Rookie Tournament and saw your interview. It was really funny. P.S. Don't worry, I won't tell anyone about your plan. Steven, Alex, are you taking part in the Kanto Rookie Tournament? I saw your fight today, and I have to admit that I'm a little confused. Is this some kind of a plan of yours? Alex, who saw several messages, showed a smile and replied to them all. After the week that Maria and Alex trained together, they talked a lot and were able to assess the character of each other relatively well. So Alex was not surprised that Maria recognized that Alex had lied in the interview. Chapter 90. Mason, who was wearing his ninja uniform, stood against Alex with a scornful face. Alex, who was wearing his red cap and his usual training uniform, showed an arrogant look. Both trainers just looked at each other and ignored the referee, who slowly repeated all the rules. 3v/S3 rules. Alex, who came up with a plan for this fight, thought that this fight should be easy as long as everything goes according to plan. Mason, who saw Alex's interview and fight, had no worries about his victory. For him, this fight was just a waste of time. Both trainers simultaneously called their first Pokémon at the sign of the referee. Sizer and Arbok appeared on the battlefield. Mason, seeing a Sizer, couldn't help but be a little worried. Sizer has many buff moves, so you shouldn't put your weak Pokémon against it. Mason knows this and would ordinarily use his strongest Pokémon to pressure Sizer right away. But when he remembered that he was facing a completely incompetent trainer, he ignored these thoughts. Mason doubted that Alex would use this chance. And even if he did, Mason didn't think he would lose. Because the damage this Sizer would get won't be so small that Mason had no worries. He preferred to use the chance to train his Pokémon. Alex, who saw the opponent's Pokémon, couldn't help but be inwardly happy. The interview and the previous fights were worth it for this fight. He was especially happy when he saw that his Arbok was a LV33 bronze Pokémon that didn't have a single move on the expert rank. Are both participants ready? Okay. 3, 2, 1, go! Alex showed an arrogant expression and said, use Hyper Beam. Mason, who was also giving his order, quickly changed his order in the middle, use Li and O, use Protect quickly. Arbok quickly conjured a shield using Protect, but Sizer used Focus Energy instead of Hyper Beam. Mason was totally lost for a second and couldn't give any further order. Only after a second, he realized that he set up. He showed a muddled expression when he saw Alex's sneer. Sizer used the time when Mason was distracted to successfully use Focus Energy twice. Mason realized that he can't waste more time and said with a sour expression, Arbok, use Leer quickly. Arbok didn't have a strong move that could deal significant damage to Sizer. Thus, he had used Leer first. Alex, who saw that Mason did not charge, became happier internally. Arbok was way too weak to prevent Sizer from buffing up. Although he could do a lot of damage to Sizer in time, Alex already had a plan to safely recover HP. After successfully using Leer to lower Sizer's defense, Arbok used Iron Tail to attack Sizer. Sizer ignored the pain and used Focus Energy until it reached the maximum effect. Then without attacking, he used Agility. Arbok used Iron Tail again and hit Sizer in the head. It did a lot of damage to Sizer. Sizer endured the pain and kept on using Agility. Mason thought, is this idiot trying to buff Sizer to the max limit? If he does that, his Sizer won't have much HP to take advantage of that. With 20 or 30% HP, these reinforcements are not really useful. After Sizer had finally successfully buffed up to the max, his whole body was covered in blood. Alex knew that Sizer can only take a move or two. Alex saw that his plan had worked and said with a smug face, Sizer, use Roost and dodge all his attacks. Roost on the expert rank not only has a more efficient in healing but also allows Sizer to move when using it. Do not underestimate this advantage. Alex had increased the speed of Sizer to an abusive level. Thus Sizer can rely on his speed alone to dodge most attacks. Although his speed was not as good as in the games, Sizer was now a good deal faster than Crobat. Only the moves that have a large attack area can hit Sizer now. Mason, who saw Sizer Roost was on the expert rank, showed a confused expression. Roost is one of the most expensive and rarely available TM, so Mason didn't expect that Sizer would be able to move while using it. When he saw his Arbok couldn't catch up to Sizer, who was healing, he had a terrible feeling. He fell completely into the trap of his opponent. Mason got angry and shouted, "I'm switching." In this tournament, Trainer/S are allowed to change once per round. Alex smiled when he saw that. Too late, he thought. Pokémon, Golbat. LV, 39. Type, Poison/Flying. Abilities, Inner Focus. Gender, Male. Potential, Deep Silver. Moves: Absorb, Supersonic, Astonish, Bite, Wing Attack, Confuse Ray, Swift, Haze, Leech Life, Mean Look. Innate Talent, Sludge Bomb, E. TM, Protect, TM, Toxic, TM, Taunt, TM, Shadow Ball, TM, Fly. Golbat, use Taunt. Alex couldn't help but smile hearing him. Mistake. You gotta know the condition to use it successfully. As long as your level is not ridiculously higher than your opponent, you cannot prevent an expert rank move unless your taunt itself is on the expert rank, thought Alex. Golbat used Taunt but failed to prevent Sizer from using Roost. Mason looked a bit confused. Still, he said hurriedly, Golbat, use Mean Look. Alex, who saw this, knew that he couldn't escape this move. This arena is big but not big enough for the Sizer to escape from the range of this move. Sizer, use Metal Claw and end the fight. Sizer, who heard this, ran at a ridiculous speed in the direction of Golbat as his claws emitted a silver light. Mason knew the Golbat would be gravely injured if he was hit by this attack, but he didn't want to stop using Mean Look. Golbat managed to use Mean Look before Sizer hit him. Sizer hit Golbat's head with his buffed-up speed and sent Golbat flying several meters. Golbat's head was profusely bleeding when he got up. Mason saw that the Golbat could not take another hit and was worried. This Sizer shouldn't stay in that buffed-up state, or he won't have a chance of victory. Golbat, use Haze. Now that Sizer can't run out of range of Haze, Golbat can successfully use Haze to weaken Sizer's buffs. In this world, Haze that is not of the expert rank cannot completely remove all reinforcements. Alex saw that Sizer would lose most of his reinforcements after a few seconds and said, use Metal Claw. Golbat and Sizer both used their moves at the same time. Golbat successfully removed most of Sizer's reinforcements but was hit again in the head by Sizer. Golbat, who was hit twice in the same place with fast force, couldn't endure anymore and became unconscious. Mason, who saw his strongest Pokémon go unconscious, couldn't help but show an annoyed expression. He knew that he probably can't win this fight now. But Mason doesn't want to give up as long as he had even a small chance to turn this fight around. That's the end of this tale for now. Thank you for watching and I'll see you in part 4. Peace.